Hi, I'm Dr. Gordo, and welcome to the Raven the Writing Desk. Today we're looking at Hamlet by William Shakespeare, a line-by-line read-through with commentary. The goal is to pretty much go through the play line by line with a special emphasis on character perspective and audience understanding. If you've never read Hamlet before, newcomers are welcome. There's not going to be any spoilers. The goal is to provide an objective understanding of the play just by looking at the text itself. I'm going to try to avoid subjective opinions, but the way I emote the lines, there will be a degree of subjectivity. I'm not a Shakespearean actor, and I'm sure I'm going to hear about it in the comments. And if I ever get too subjective, please let me know. Without further ado, let's get going. Act 1, Scene 1. The ramparts of Elsinore, Denmark, circa 12th century. The castle guards are nervous because a ghost haunts the watch. They invite a scholar to try to speak with it. The ghost appears, but says nothing. The guards and the scholar decide what to do next. It is dark, it's cold, and the scene is nervous. Francisco is being relieved by Bernardo. Who's there? Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself. Long live the king! Bernardo? He. You come most carefully upon your hour. Francisco is relieved that Bernardo is there. 'Tis struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco. 'Tis bitter cold, and I'm sick of heart. As Francisco exits, Horatio and Marcellus enter. Say, what? Is Horatio there? A piece of him. Horatio really doesn't want to be there, but they've invited him to witness something. What? Has this thing appeared again tonight? I have seen nothing. Marcellus. Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore, I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that, if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it. Tush, tush, will not appear. Horatio's doubtful. Bernardo gives us some exposition. Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears, that we are so fortified against our story, what we have seen, 2 nights seen. Well, sit we down, and let Bernardo speak of this. Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made its course to illume that part of heaven where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell beating one, the ghost suddenly appears. Marcellus, peace, break off, look where it comes again, in the same figure that like the king that's dead. The guards really want Horatio to notice the ghost looks like the dead king. Thou art a scholar, speak to Horatio. Looks he like the king? Mark it, Horatio. Most like, it harrows me with fear and wonder. What art thou that usurpest this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak. But the ghost remains silent. It is offended. See, it stalks away. Stay, speak, speak, I charge thee, speak. Ghost disappears. How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What do you think on it? Before my God, I might not this believe without the sensible and true avouch of my own eyes. Horatio's convinced. Is it not like the king? As thou art to thyself, such was the very armor he had on when the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once when, in angry parley, he smote the sledded poles on the ice. 'Tis strange. Marcellus wants to know what else is going on around here. Why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the land, and why such daily costed cast of brazen cannon and foreign marked of implements of war? Why such impressive shipwrights, whose some task is not divide the day from the Sunday from the week? What might be toward that the sweaty haste doth make the night joint labor with the day? Who is it who can inform me? Horatio has some answers. That can I, at least, the whispers go. Horatio goes on to tell the story about how King Hamlet defeated King Fortinbras in a duel and claimed Norwegian lands. With King Hamlet dead, Prince Fortinbras is raising an army to get Norwegian lands back. The three agree the ghost is the bad omen. I think it be no other but even so. Well may it sort that this portentous figure comes armed through our watch, so like the king that was and is the question of these wars. Suddenly, Ghost appears again. But soft, behold, lo, where it comes again. I'll cross it though it blast me. Stay, illusion. If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily for knowing may avoid, O speak. Or if thou hast apported in thy life extorted treasure in the womb of earth, for which they say you spirits oft walk in death, speak of it. Ghost says nothing. Stay and speak. Stop it, Marcellus. Shall I strike it with my partisan? Do, if it will not stand. Just as the ghost is about to speak, a rooster is heard off stage. 'Tis gone. We do it wrong, being so majestical to offer it a show of violence. It was about to speak when the cock crew. They go on to talk about the significance of birds relating to beliefs in the play. I could do a separate video on that if you like. They do conclude that they need to take this news to Prince Hamlet right away. Let us impart what we have seen tonight onto young Hamlet, for, upon my life, this spirit, dumb to us, will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint him with it as needful in our loves, fitting our duty? Let's do it, I pray, and I this morning know where we will find him most convenient. That's scene 1. Quick recap. A ghost, resembling King Hamlet, appears on the ramparts of Elsinore. The ghost is silent, but it is taken as a bad omen. Could it do with the impending invasions by Prince Fortinbras? Prince Hamlet must be informed. Character perspectives. Horatio, scholar, invited by the castle guards to confirm the sighting of the ghost. He is doubtful at first, but sees the ghost. He knows Prince Hamlet and wants to inform him immediately. Prince Fortinbras doesn't appear in this scene, but he's very important to the play. His father was killed by King Hamlet. With King Hamlet dead, Prince Fortinbras is raising an army to invade Denmark. And the question is he a hero or a villain? Audience point of view. Why didn't Prince Hamlet become king? Who is the current king of Denmark? Is Prince Fortinbras a significant threat? How will the prince react to the news of the ghost? Act 1, Scene 2, the Grand Hall of Elsinore. Claudius, the new king of Denmark, laments the death of his brother. He has married his sister-in-law, Gertrude. He discusses the Norwegian threat and tries to comfort the mourning Hamlet. The prince is depressed by recent events, but is amazed to learn of the ghost. The scene opens with King Claudius addressing the court. He acknowledges the passing of his brother and a mourning kingdom. Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green. He goes on to explain that despite the sadness, he has married his sister-in-law, our sometime sister, now our queen. The point is, Claudius is saying the kingdom needs to get on with business. Claudius is sending 2 ambassadors, Cornelius and Voltimand, to Old Norway, the uncle of Fortinbras, to inform him of his nephew's intentions. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of this his nephew's purpose. And we here dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltimand, for bearers of this greeting to Old Norway. Both ambassadors say, in that and all things we shall show our duty. The word duty comes up a lot in this play. Keep an eye out for it. Moving along, Claudius invites Laertes to address the court. And now, Laertes, what's the new with you? You told us of some suit. What is it, Laertes? You cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What would thou beg, Laertes, that shall not be my offer, not thy asking? The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth. That is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes? Your leave and favour to return to France, where whence though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend to France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon. Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius? I do beseech you to give him leave to go. Laertes is granted leave. And now we get introduced to Prince Hamlet. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son. In an aside, which is only heard by the audience, a little more than kin and less than kind. Prince Hamlet is not fond of Claudius. Who is it the clouds still hang on you? Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun. Remember, this is in front of court. Hamlet is talking about his ongoing mourning. In Gertrude's opening lines, she encourages her son Hamlet to take off his mourning clothes and accept death as a part of life. Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thy eye look like a friend of Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity. Hamlet acknowledges that, yes, death is common, but why is he still mourning? Ay, madam, it is common. Why does it seem so particular with you? Seems, madam? Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief, that can denote me truly. Those indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play, but I have that within which passes show, but these the trappings and suits of woe. Claudius tries to intervene. 'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father, but you must know that your father lost a father, that father lost his, and the survivor bound in fieful obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, and understanding simple and unschooled. Hamlet needs to join the kingdom in moving on. 'Tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as a father, for let the world take note, you are most immediate to our throne. Claudius is publicly identifying Prince Hamlet as the crown prince, and as the future leader of this country, you can't go on mourning. You've got to be strong for everybody. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son. Gertrude agrees. Let not thy mother lost her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg. I shall in my best obey you, madam. That's all Claudius needed to hear. Why, 'tis a loving and fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no junkled heart that Denmark drinks today, but the cannon to the cloud shall tell, and the kings roused to the heaven shall bruit again, re-speaking earthly thunder, come away. Claudius is off to go drinking, and everybody exits except Hamlet. In his first soliloquy, we see the depths of Hamlet's depression. Oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt, his cannon 'gainst self-slaughter. Hamlet is thinking about self-harm, but he knows it's a sin. Oh God, God, how weary, stale, and flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it, oh fie, 'tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. It's been about 2 months since King Hamlet died, but Hamlet's depression is not from mourning. It's actually out of anger against his mother for remarrying so quickly. 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2, so loving to my mother that he might not between the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth, must I remember? Why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. And yet, within a month, let me not think on it, frailty, thy name is woman, a little month, or ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body. O God, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married to my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, she married. Oh, most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not nor cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue. Hamlet knows he needs to keep these thoughts to himself. Horatio enters, but Prince Hamlet doesn't seem to recognize him at first. Hail, your lordship. I am glad to see thee well. Horatio, or do I forget myself? The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever. Sir, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. And what makes you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus? Hamlet gives Bernardo a nod. My good lord, I am glad to see you. Good even, sir. But what, in faith, makes you from Wittenberg? A truant disposition, good my lord. I know you are no truant, but what is your affair at Elsinore? We'll teach you to deep drink ere you depart. My lord, I came to see your father's funeral. Hamlet's not buying it. I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding. Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon. Thrift, Horatio, the funeral baked meats did coldly furnish the marriage tables. The leftovers from the funeral were served at the marriage. My father, methinks I see my father. Where, my lord? In my mind's eye, Horatio. I saw him once. He was a goodly king. He was a man. Take him for all in all, I shall not look upon his likes again. Horatio cuts the matter. My lord, I think I saw him yesternight. Saw who? My lord, the king your father. The king my father? Horatio then recounts Act 1, Scene 1. But where was this, my lord, upon the platform where we watch? Did you not speak to it? My lord, I did, but answer made it none. 'Tis very strange. As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true, and we did think it writ down in our duty to let you know of it. Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight? We do, my lord. Armed, you say? Armed, my lord. From toe to toe, my lord, from head to foot. Then you saw his face? Oh yes, my lord, he wore his beaver up. He wore his face shield up. What, looked he frowningly? A countenance more in sorrow than in anger? Pale or red, nay, very pale, and fixed his eyes upon you, most constantly. I would have been there. It would have much amazed you. Very like. Stayed it long? While one with moderate haste might tell 100. Longer, not when I saw it. His beard was grizzled, no, as it was in life, a sabled silver. I will watch tonight, perchance to walk again. I warrant it will. If it assumes my father's noble person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hither concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. Let's just keep this between us. And whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give it an understanding but no tongue. I will requite your loves, so fare you well. Upon the platform, twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you. Our duty to your honor, your loves as mine to you, farewell. Everybody but Hamlet exits. My father's spirit, in arms, all is not well. I doubt some foul play. Would the night were to come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes. That's the end of Scene 2. Recap. Claudius acknowledges trouble in the kingdom, but is confident about Denmark's future. Claudius is married to his sister-in-law, Gertrude. They ask Hamlet to stop mourning his father for the sake of the kingdom. Hamlet is furious about his mother's remarriage and is unstable. Horatio and the guards inform Hamlet about the ghost. Prince Hamlet plans to join the watch that night. Perspectives. Claudius confidently handles the Norway situation and grants Laertes leave. He is in love with Gertrude and assumes Hamlet will get past his mourning. Polonius. He is Denmark's Lord Chamberlain. We really don't learn about anything about him. Laertes, we learn that he's going back to France. Gertrude, happily remarried, remains as queen, but concerned for her son. She wants to see Hamlet end his mourning and be happy again. Pleased Hamlet is staying at court. Horatio, schoolmate to Prince Hamlet, came to Elsinore for Claudius' coronation, stayed for the wedding, tells Prince Hamlet about the ghost, and encourages him to join them. Prince Hamlet, publicly in deep mourning, privately extremely depressed over Gertrude's remarriage. agrees to stay at Elsinore instead of returning to school at Wittenberg. He is amazed by the news of the ghost. Audience point of view. We met all the main players at court, and we're wondering, will the Norwegian threat be contained? And is a man marrying his sister-in-law incestuous? And how will the ghost impact Hamlet's instability? Act 1, Scene 3, Chambers of Polonius. Laertes says goodbye to his sister, Ophelia. They discuss her relationship with Prince Hamlet. Polonius gives his son some advice before turning his attention to Ophelia. He confronts Ophelia and demands she cut off all contact with Hamlet. We hear the end of a conversation. Laertes is giving Ophelia advice about Hamlet. Ophelia and Hamlet have been writing to each other. For Hamlet, and the trifling of his favor, hold it to a fashion and a toy in your blood, a violet in the youth of primy nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more. No more but so? Think of it no more. Laertes is concerned that Hamlet isn't that serious on Ophelia. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soiled nor coddled doth besmirch the virtues of his will. But you must fear his greatness weighed, his will is not his own. Because Hamlet is the crown prince, he can't choose his own bride. It's going to be chosen for him. Laertes explains, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for his choice depends the safety and the health of a whole state, and therefore must his choice be circumscribed onto the voice and yielding of that body whereon he is the head. Laertes wants Ophelia to rethink things. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of shot and danger of desire. The chariest maid is prodigal enough if she unmasks her beauty to the moon. Ophelia appreciates the advice, but he himself should behave. I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart, but, good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whiles, like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose pass of dalliance treads, and recks not his own reed. Polonius enters, and he's surprised to see Laertes is still here. He thought he's already left town. Yet here, Laertes, abroad, abroad, for shame. Polonius takes this opportunity to give his son some cliché advice about moderation. There, my blessings with thee, and these few precepts in thy memory look to thy character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any proportioned thoughts his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them onto thy soul with hoops of steel, but do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new hatch unfledged courage. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but, being in, bear it to that oppose may beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censor, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy. Rich, not gaudy. For the apparel oft proclaims the man, and they in France and the best rank and station are of a most select and generous chief in that. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan often loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thy own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing season this in thee. Most humbly I take my leave, my lord. The time invests you. Go, your servants tend. Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you. 'Tis in my memory, locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it. And with that, Laertes departs. Polonius wants to know, was it Ophelia he has said to you, so please you, something touching the Lord Hamlet? Polonius has the same concerns as Laertes. If her reputation is ruined, it's going to be difficult to repair. He hath, my lord, of late made many tender of his affections to me. Affections? Puh! You speak like a green girl unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them? Tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase, running it thus you'll tender me a fool. My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honourable fashion. Aye, fashion you may call it. Go to, go to. He hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven. Ah, springs to catch woodcocks, I do know, when the blood burns and how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. Polonius forbids Ophelia from seeing Hamlet any longer. Ophelia, do not believe his vows, for they are brokers, not of the die which their investments show. This is for all. I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you slander any moment leisure as to give words or talk to the Lord Hamlet. Look to, I charge you, come your ways. Ophelia agrees. I shall obey, my lord. Recap, Act 1, Scene 3. Laertes, before departing for France, discusses Prince Hamlet with his sister Ophelia. He is concerned she's going to get her heart broken. Polonius gives Laertes some fatherly advice. Polonius then forbids Ophelia from further contact with Hamlet. Character perspectives. Laertes, ideal man of court, loyal and dutiful. Polonius appears confident in his success, but asks him to behave. Concerned for his sister's well-being while he's away, he warns her about Hamlet. Polonius, proud of his son Laertes, he wants to see him do well. Concerned about Ophelia's relationship with Hamlet, she could disgrace the family and ruin her honor. He forbids her from speaking to Hamlet. Ophelia, correspondence with Prince Hamlet, who has been attending school. In a separate video, I can talk more about what kind of a relationship did Ophelia and Hamlet have, because it does sound like he saw her recently and there's been a correspondence. Enough said. The point is, she does seem to be in love with him. She listens respectfully to Laertes, but Polonius gets through to her. She agrees to stop seeing Hamlet. Audience point of view. The audience knows that Hamlet is unstable, not prepared for a romantic relationship. But will Ophelia obey Polonius, and how will Hamlet react? Act 1, Scene 4, Ramparts of Elsinore. Prince Hamlet meets with Horatio and Marcellus. Hamlet laments Claudius's behavior. The ghost appears and bids Hamlet to follow. The mood is established as Hamlet opens. The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold. It is a nipping and eager air. What hour is it now? I think it lacks a 12. No, it is struck. So the confusion over the time adds a little to the tension. Then draws near the season wherein the spirit held his wont to walk. Then we hear some trumpets off stage. What does this mean, my lord? Claudius is having his big celebration he mentioned earlier. The king doth wake tonight and takes his rouse, keeps wassail, and the swaggering uprising reels, and, as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle rum and trumpet thus bray out the trumpet of his pledge. Every time Claudius drinks, they play instruments. Horatio, not from court, wants to know, is it custom? Ah, marry it is, but to mind, though I am native here, and to the manner born, it is custom more honored in the breach than the observance. This heavy-handled revel east and west makes us traduced and taxes of other nations. They clep us as drunkards, and the Swinish phrase soil our addition, and indeed, it takes from our achievements. But before Hamlet can continue, the ghost appears. Look, my lord, it comes. Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned. Bring thee the airs from heaven or blasts of hell. But thy intents wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, king, father, royal Dane. Oh, answer me. Ghost remains silent. With thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls, say, what is this? Whereof? What should we do? The ghost beckons him to follow. The others do not trust the ghost. Horatio, it beckons you to go away with it as if it imparted to desire you alone. Marcellus, look at what courteous action it waves to you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it. Horatio, no, by no means. Hamlet, it will not speak, then I will follow it. Marcellus, do not, my lord. Hamlet is showing his madness. What should I fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee, and for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? It weighs me forth, I'll follow it. Horatio tries to talk some sense into Hamlet. He's very concerned for his safety. This could be an evil spirit who wants to lure Hamlet off a cliff. What if it tempts you towards a flood, my lord, or to the dreaded summit of the cliff that beetles over his base into the sea, and there assumes some other horrible form which might deprive you of your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness? Think of it. Hamlet is not swayed. It weighs me still. Go on, I'll follow thee. Marcellus, you shall not go, my lord. Horatio and Marcellus try to actively stop Hamlet. Hold off your hands. Be ruled, you shall not go. My fate cries out, unhand me, gentlemen. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. I say, away, go on, I'll follow thee. Hamlet exit. Horatio and Marcellus are standing there wondering what to do. He waxes desperate with imagination. Marcellus, let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him. Have after, to what issue will his come? Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Heaven will direct it. Nay, let's follow him. Horatio and Marcellus decide to chase after Hamlet. Recap. Hamlet disapproves of how Claudius celebrates. A king should model sobriety. Hamlet is captivated by the ghost and follows it. Concerned for his safety, Horatio and Marcellus follow. Perspectives. Horatio begs Hamlet not to follow the ghost. It could be an evil spirit, and it further demonstrates his loyalty by pursuing the prince. Prince Hamlet expresses interest in the throne and how a king should rule with temperance, showing a stable side. The ghost brings out his madness. Despite the risks, he follows it. Audience point of view, simply, is this the ghost of King Hamlet, or is it an evil spirit? Act 1, Scene 5, a secluded ground. Hamlet speaks with the ghost. He is told that King Hamlet was murdered by Claudius to claim the throne and Gertrude. The ghost commands the prince to take revenge. Hamlet swears Horatio and Marcellus to secrecy and hints at his course of action. Hamlet pursues the ghost to a secluded spot. The ghost finally speaks. Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further. Mark me. I will. My hour is almost come, when I to sufferers and tormenting flames must render up myself. Alas, poor ghost, pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold, whose lightest words would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, if thou didst ever thy dear father love. O God! Revenge his foul and most unnatural murder. Murder? Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural. Haste me to know it, that I, with wings as swift as mediation or the thoughts of love, may sweep to my revenge. I find thee out, Hamlet, here. 'Tis given out that, sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me, so the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown. Claudius killed King Hamlet. Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle! Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wits, with traitorous gifts. O wicked wit and gifts, that have power so to seduce one to his shameful lust the will of my most seemingly virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there! For me, whose love was that of the dignity that it went hand in hand, even with the vow I made to her in marriage, to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. So Gertrude fell for a much lesser man. But virtue, as it will never be moved, though lewdness courted to a shape of heaven, so lust, through a radiant angel linked, well sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air, brief let me be, sleeping in my orchard, my custom always in the afternoon. Upon my secured hour, thy uncle stole with juice of cursed Hebanon in a vial, and in the porches of my ear did pour the leprous distilment. whose effect holds such an amity with the blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of my body, and with a sudden vigor it doth possess and curd, like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. And affect instant tetter barked about, most lazar-like, with vile and loathsome crust, all my smooth body. Thus I was, sleeping, by a brother's hand of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched. Cut off, even in the bosoms of thy sin, unhouselled, disappointed, unanailed, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all of my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible, horrible, most horrible. This play follows Catholic beliefs, and because King Hamlet did not receive the last rites, he went to purgatory, where he's going to purge his sins before he can go to heaven. If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for damned incest. But howsoever thou pursues this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. The ghost is clearly saying, leave your mother alone. Your target is Claudius. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, and gins to pale his unaffected fire. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Remember thee, I, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in thy disgraced globe, remember thee, yea, from the table of my memory, yes, by heaven. Now, despite the ghost's command to leave Gertrude alone, Hamlet is still furious with her. Oh, most pernicious woman! Oh, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain! So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word, it is adieu, adieu, remember me. I have sworn it. Hamlet pulls out a piece of paper and writes down that promise. Now, Marcellus and Horatio come rushing up, very concerned for Hamlet's safety. Heaven secure him! Hamlet, lost in thought. So be it. Marcellus, lo, ho, ho, my lord! Hamlet starts speaking gibberish. Hello, ho, ho, boy, come here to come. By news, my lord. Oh, wonderful! Good, my lord, tell it. No, you will reveal it. Not I, my lord, by heaven, nor I, my lord. How say you then? Would heart of man once think it, but you'll be secret. There's a villain dwelling in all of Denmark, but he's an errant knave. There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this. Why, right you are and right, and so, without more circumstances all, I hold it fit that we shall shake hands and part. You, as your business and desire shall point you, for every man hath business and desire such it is, and for my own part I will go pray. But these are wild and whirling words, my lord. I am sorry they offend you heartily. Yes, faith, heartily. There is no offense, my lord. Yes, by St. Patrick, there is, Horatio, and much offense too. Touching this vision here, it is an honest ghost, let me tell you that. For your desire to know what is between us, overmaster it to your may. And now, good friends, as you are good friends, scholars and soldiers, give me one poor request. What is it, my lord? We will never make known what you have seen tonight. My lord, we will not. Nay, but swear it. My lord, we will not. In faith, my lord, not I. Nor I, my lord, in faith. Upon my sword. He wants Horatio Marcellus to make an oath on his sword. We have sworn, my lord, already. Indeed, upon my sword. We can hear the ghost off stage. Swear! It's unclear who can hear it. We can only assume Hamlet can hear it. Ha ha, boy! Hast thou so? Art thou there, true penny? Come on, you hear this fellow in the cellarage? Consent to swear. Propose the oath, my lord. Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword. Swear. Hamlet remarks that the ghost seems to be here and everywhere. Then we'll shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Swear by my sword, never to speak of this that you have heard. Swear by his sword. Well said, old mole. Canst work in the earth so fast? A worthy pioneer, once more removed, good friend. Horatio is so confused. Oh, day and night, but this is wondrous strange, and therefore as a stranger give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt in your philosophy. Hamlet wants him to promise not only not to speak about tonight, but not to make any comments about any actions he's about to take. But come, here, as before, never, so help you mercy, how strange or odd somever I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put on an antic disposition on. That you, at such times, see me, shall never, with arms encumbered thus, or this head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase, as well we know, or we could, and if we would, or if we would list to speak, or there be an if they might, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me. This do swear, so grace and memory at your most need help you. Hamlet takes a moment to catch his breath and a little bit more calmly expresses the oath. Swear. Rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentlemen, with all love I do command me to you, and whatso poor a man as Hamlet is may, to do express his love and friending greeting to you, God willing, shall not lack. Let us go together, and still your fingers on your tips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together. And they all exit. Recap Act 1, Scene 5. The ghost claims to be the spirit of King Hamlet. It says Claudius murdered him to take the throne and his wife, and commands Prince Hamlet to take revenge. Hamlet swears his companions to secrecy and starts to hatch a plan. The ghost claims in life he was murdered while napping in his orchard by Claudius. It appeared like a snake bite, but Claudius poured poison in his ear. His command, leave Gertrude alone and kill Claudius. Prince Hamlet listens to and believes the ghost, swears revenge. His instability comes out when he is talking to his companions, but a plan is formed. He says he will be acting unusual, but isn't he already acting unstable? Horatio follows Prince Hamlet and is confused by his demeanor, promises to keep what he saw secret. Audience point of view. Is the ghost truthful, or is it an evil spirit? That's never clarified. Just because the ghost claims to be King Hamlet doesn't make it so. The encounter further destabilizes Hamlet. Did the ghost add to his madness? What is Hamlet's plan, and how will he carry out his revenge? Now, quick recap of Act 1. King Hamlet of Denmark died, and his brother Claudius took the throne, and the queen. Prince Hamlet is furious with his mother over this remarriage. Denmark is threatened by Norway. A ghost tells Hamlet he was killed by Claudius and swears the prince to revenge. Prince Hamlet has a couple of allies, including his school friend Horatio. Ophelia, love interest to Hamlet, is forbidden to see him further by her father Polonius, the Lord Chamberlain. Ophelia's brother Laertes departs for France. And that is Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1, the chambers of Polonius. Polonius is sending a servant to inquire about Laertes. Suddenly, an upset Ophelia enters. She is frightened by Hamlet's behavior. Polonius assumes Hamlet has been driven mad by unrequited love. He decides to inform Claudius immediately. Polonius is sending his servant Rinaldo with money and letters for Laertes. Give him this money and these notes, Rinaldo. I will, my lord. However, Polonius has additional instructions. He wants a report of his son's activities. You shall do marvelous wisely, good Rinaldo, before you visit him, to inquire of his behavior. My lord, I did intend it. Polonius likes elaborate plans. He first wants to find out what are Danish people doing in Paris. Marry, well said. Look you, sir, inquire me first what gangsters are in Paris, and how and who, what means, and where they keep. What company, and at what expense, and finding by this encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son, come you more near to that particular demands will touch it. Find out what kind of company Laertes is keeping. Pretend that you're an old friend of his. Take you, as 'twere, some distant knowledge of him, as this: I know his father, and his friends, and, in part, him. Do you mark this, Ronaldo? Aye, very well, my lord. Ronaldo is to suggest that Laertes is a wild man, and, in part, him, but, you may say, not well. But if it I mean, he's very wild, addicted so-and-so, and there put on him what forgeries you please. Marry, none so rank as he may dishonor him. Take heed of that. Ronaldo may suggest that Laertes drinks, fights, gambles, and associates with sex workers. As gaming, my lord? Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbing, you may go so far. Polonius clarifies that he's only to hint at these rumors. My lord, that would dishonor him. Faith, no, as you may season it in the charge. You must not put another scandal on him that he is open to incontinency. That is not my meaning. Polonius confirms this is all understood. But, good my lord, wherefore should you do this? I, my lord, I would know that. Marry, sir, here's my drift. This is Polonius's reasoning behind everything. And I believe it is a fetch of wit, you main these citing sullies on my son, as 'twere a think a little sullied in the working. Polonius assumes that if Laertes is an honorable man, people will defend his honor. Mark you, your party and converse, him you would sound, having even seen in the predominant crimes of youth, you breath of guilt, be assured he closes with you in this consequence. Good sir, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase or the addition of man and country. Very good, my lord. Polonius gets so busy in his scheming he forgets what he's talking about. And then, sir, does he this? He does... What was I about to say? By the mass, I was about to say something. Where did I leave off? At closes in the consequence, at friend or so and gentleman? At closes in the consequence, aye, marry. He closes thus. I know a gentleman. There was gaming. There overtooken some rows. There falling out at tennis. Or perchance I saw him at a house of sale. Your bait of falsehood, take this carp of truth. You have me, have you not? My lord, I have. Ronaldo departs. Suddenly, a very upset Ophelia enters. How now, Ophelia? What's the matter? Oh, my lord, I've been so affrighted. A disheveled Hamlet burst into Ophelia's room. What with? In the name of God. My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all unbraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, ungartered, and down-guiled to his ankle. Hamlet doesn't say anything, but he was pale as a ghost. Pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport that if he had been lucid out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me. Mad for thy love? My lord, I do not know, but I truly fear it. Hamlet has been acting strange lately. Maybe his feelings for Ophelia has something to do with it. He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he the length of all his arm, and with his other hand over his brow, he falls to such perusal of face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of my arm, and thrice his head up and down. He raised a sigh, so piteous and profound, as if it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and, with his head over his shoulder, turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out of the doors he went without their helps, and to the last bended their light to me. It sounds like a very unsettling encounter, but was Hamlet pretending to be mad, or is he actually mad? Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love. I am sorry. What? Have you given him many hard words of late? No, my lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied access to me. That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not courted him. Come, go we to the king. This must he know, which, being kept close, might move more grief to hide than hate can utter love. Come. So they're off to explain things to King Claudius. and that is Act 2, Scene 1. Polonius sends a servant to Paris to inquire into Laertes' behavior. Offstage, Ophelia has a physical encounter with a silent Hamlet. Polonius, assuming Hamlet has gone mad from unrequited love, goes to inform Claudius. Character perspectives. Polonius. You can play him as a stooge or a calculating man of state. He considers himself clever. He plans to uncover Laertes with some clever deception, and he assumes Prince Hamlet is lovesick for Ophelia and will tell Claudius. Ophelia. The pre-play relationship is never clarified, but Ophelia has stopped seeing Hamlet. Some time has passed since the end of Act 1. She is led to believe that she is the cause of Hamlet's recent strange behavior. Audience point of view. Will Polonius' scheming have consequences? Is Hamlet pretending to be mad, or is he revealing his true self? And how will Claudius react to this news? Act 2, Scene 2, Grand Hall of Elsinore. The king and queen recruit Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, boyhood friends of Hamlet, to spy on him. Hamlet is acting strangely, and they may reveal the cause. Hamlet dismisses them, but is excited at their arrival of a troupe of actors. Hamlet hires them to play for the court. Act 2, Scene 2 is by far the longest scene in the play, but we're going to take our time. Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we have much did long to see you. The need we have to use that you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so I call it. Hamlet's mourning has taken on a new strangeness. What it should be, more than his father's death, that thus hath put in so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream it. Claudius hopes that, since Rosencrantz and Guildenstern go way back with Hamlet, they can find something out. I entreat you both that, being of so young days brought up with him, and sis though neighboured to his youth and havior, that you vouchsafe your rest here at court some little time, so by your companies to draw him into pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean. Hang out with Hamlet, talk to him, hopefully he says something. Good gentlemen, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am two men there not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are happy to be of use. Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty. But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded. Thanks, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Thanks, Guildenstern and Rosencrantz. Although they claim that Hamlet thinks very highly of them, they can't tell them apart. Again, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern. Claudius. Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz, and I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go, some of you, and bring these gentlemen where Hamlet is. Claudius is asking some guards to show Rosencrantz and Guildenstern where Hamlet is. Guildenstern. But we will obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet to be commanded. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit as Polonius enters. The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned. Thou still hast been the father of good news. So, the mission's back from Norway. Let's see what they have to say. Polonius, coming right from his meeting with Ophelia, also adds, I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy. Oh, speak of that I do long to hear. Claudius says to Gertrude, Polonius knows something, to which Gertrude replies, I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our over-hasty marriage. So Gertrude is aware that what her and Claudius have done have impacted Hamlet, but of course, that's only scratching the surface of it. Enter the ambassadors with good news. Welcome, my good friends. Say, Voltimand, what from our brother Norway? Most fair return of greetings and desires. They go on to account how they went and spoke to old Norway, the man who's in charge of this Danish-controlled Norway, the uncle of Prince Fortinbras, and he thought Fortinbras was raising up an army to attack Poland. And so when he found out that he was actually raising it to attach Denmark, old Norway was quite upset. He sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be prepared against the Polak, sends out arrests on Fortinbras. Fortinbras makes vow before his uncle never more to give the assay of arms against your majesty. So Prince Fortinbras, oh geez, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you'd be upset about that. Whereon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 70,000 crowns in annual fee and his commission to imply these soldiers so levied as before against the Polak with an entreaty. Well, Fortinbras, since you have raised this army, we might as well use it. Why not attack Poland with it? That it might please you to give quiet pass through your dominions for this enterprise on such regards of safety and allowance as therein are set down. Norway is proposing, in order to get our soldiers from Norway to Poland, could we please march across Denmark? Now, this might seem a little confusing if you know modern geography. Denmark doesn't border Poland. In the 12th century, though, Denmark was a lot larger. I just found this map here of Canute the Great's empire when Denmark ruled both Norway and England. In the universe of this play, Denmark is strong enough to tell England what to do, and you already know it controls Denmark. The territory would extend what was then the Holy Roman Empire into Pomerania and the Kingdom of Poland. So you can just march across the kingdom into Poland, as opposed to taking your chances at sea, going through all of this, and then landing in hostile territory. Claudius realizes that this treaty may solve the Norway situation. It likes us well, and at a more considered time, will read, answer, and think upon this business. The ambassadors exit, and Polonius begins. My liege, and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night night, and time is time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness of limbs and outwards flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Gertrude would like him to get to his point. More matter with less art. Polonius defends himself. Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he's mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity 'tis is true. A foolish figure, but I use no art. Polonius has gone through letters that Hamlet wrote to Ophelia, and he reads one of them to the royal couple. Ophelia hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. To the celestial, to my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase, but you shall hear thus. In her excellent white bosom, these, etc. Gertrude asked, came this from Hamlet to her? Good madam, stay a while. I'll be faithful. Doubt the stars are fire, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not the art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best, oh, most best, believe it. Polonius explains that he is bringing this information to the royal couple because he feels it is his duty. This, in obedience, hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means, and place, all given mine ear. Claudius, but how hath he received his love? Polonius gets a bit defensive. What do you think of me? As a man faithful and honorable? I would fain to prove so. My young mistress, thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince, out of thy star. This must not be. And then I prescripts gave her that she should lock herself from his resport, admit no messengers, receive no tokens. Polonius is recapping what he said in Act 1, that he forbidded Ophelia from seeing Hamlet any longer. And he, repelled, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence into a watch, thence into a weakness, thence into a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein now he raves, and for we all mourn for. In other words, Hamlet's heartbroken. Claudius asks Gertrude, do you think 'tis this? It may be, very like. Gertrude says it's plausible. Polonius will arrange an encounter between Ophelia and Hamlet. He and Claudius will listen to their conversation. At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then. Mark the encounter. If he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for estate, but keep a farm and carters. Polonius is so sure that Hamlet's in love with Polonius, he's willing to stake his reputation on it. Claudius, we will try it. Hamlet enters, Gertrude, but look where sadly the poor wretch comes reading. Away, I do beseech you both, away, I'll board him presently, oh, give me leave. Polonius would like to try to question Hamlet. In the following encounter, we see fake mad Hamlet. How does my good lord Hamlet? Well, God a mercy! Do you know me, my lord? Excellent well, you are a fishmonger. He thinks he's a fish salesman, which is actually a reference to Ophelia. Prince Hamlet outranks Polonius, so he can insult him all he wants as part of this fake madness. Not I, my lord. Then I would you were so honest a man. Honest, my lord? Aye, sir, to be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000. That's very true, my lord. For if the sun breeds maggots in a dead dog, being a good kissing carrion, have you a daughter? I have, my lord. Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to it. So Prince Hamlet is warning Polonius, your daughter may become pregnant. In an aside, Polonius contemplates Hamlet's behavior. How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone. And truly, in my youth, I suffered from much extremity from love, very near this. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord? Words. Words. What is the matter, my lord? Between who? I mean the matter that you read, my lord. Slander, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards and that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber and plum, tree gum, and that they have plentiful lack of wit, together with the most weak hams, for which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not with honesty to have it this set down. For yourself, sir, shall grow old as I am, if, like a crab, you could walk backwards. In another aside, Polonius admits that these are wild words, but there's a sort of pattern to it. Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out in the air, my lord? Into my grave? Indeed, that is out of the air. In another aside, Polonius comments, how pregnant sometimes his replies are, a happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be deceived of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My lord, I will take my leave of you. You cannot, sir, take from me anything I will part with more willingly, part with all, except my life, except my life, except my life. Polonius has heard enough. Fare you well, my lord. He sees Rosencrantz and Guildenstern coming in, to which Hamlet in an aside says, these tedious fools. So, not happy to see them. You see the Lord Hamlet. There he is. God save you, sir, my honored lord, my most dear lord. Hamlet greets them. My excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Ah, Rosencrantz, good lads, how do you both? As indifferent children of the world, happy in that we are not over happy on fortune's cap, but we are not the very button. Not the soles of her feet? Neither, my lord. Then you would live about her waist, or in the middle of her favors. Little lowbrow humor. Faith, her privates we. In the secret parts of fortune, oh, must true, she is a strumpet, what news? So, Hamlet calls Fate a prostitute, and wants to know, why are you here? None, my lord, but that the world has grown honest. Then is doomsday near? But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune, that she sends you to prison hither? Prison, my lord? Denmark's a prison. Then is the world one, a goodly one, in which it here are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst. We think not so, my lord. Why then, 'tis none of you, for there is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison. What makes you to Elsinore? So Hamlet really wants to know, why are you here? If you're my true friends, you're going to be honest with me. To what end, my lord? That you must teach me. Be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no. What do you say? Nay then, I have an eye on you. If you love me, hold not off. My lord, we were sent for. Hamlet accepts the fact that they were open in this regard, but again, he's not going to tell them what's really going on, and his feigned madness continues. I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen mold no feather. Hamlet confesses, through his feigned madness, that he is depressed and no longer sees any beauty in the world. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my worth, forgone my exercises. The earth seems to me a sterile promontory, this most excellent canopy. Hamlet turns his attention to the greatness of man, but chides Rosencrantz for thinking he is talking about man loving man. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet, to me, when in this wittiness of dust, man delights me not. No, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you may seem to say so. My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts. Why did you laugh then, when I said man delights me not? To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what leaden entertainment the players shall receive you? We coted them on the way, and hither are coming to offer you service. On their way to Elsinore, they ran across some actors that are also on their way to the castle. Hamlet is suddenly very excited by this news. He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty will have tribute on me. What players are they? And now jovial mad Hamlet confesses that, yeah, I'm kind of pretending to be mad, but he says it in the most mad way possible. Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore, but my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived. In what, my dear lord? I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw. Polonius returns. Well be with you, gentlemen. Hamlet says to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, hark you, Guildenstern, and you too, at each ear I hear, that great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clothes. Rosencrantz tries to gain some favor with Hamlet by making fun of Polonius. Happily, he is the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a child. I will prophesy, he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it, you say right sit, a Monday morning, 'twas then indeed. Polonius enters to tell Hamlet about the actors, and he makes a reference to a famous Roman actor, which of course comes across as mad. My lord, I have news for you. My lord, I have news to tell you. When Roscius was an actor in Rome. Polonius reads an advertisement for the players, and Hamlet replies with a biblical reference. The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, for the law of writ, and the liberty, these are the only men. O Jebediah, judge of Israel, what a treasure hast thou! What treasure had he, lord? Why, one fair daughter, and no more, for which he loved passing well. Still am my daughter. Am I not in the right, old Jebediah? If you call me Jebediah, my lord, I have a daughter that I love passing well. Nay, that follows not. What follows then, my lord? Why, as by lot, God wot, and then, you know, it came to pass, as most like it was, the first row of the pious chanson will show you more, for look where abridgment comes. Hamlet could be saying multiple things here. It may require another video to really get into. The players enter, and Hamlet greets them very warmly. More warmly that is fitting their social rank, which makes Hamlet seem all the more mad. Welcome, masters, welcome all. I am glad to see thee well. Welcome, good friends. Hamlet turns his attention to the lead actor. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech. What speech, my good lord? Hamlet either knows these actors from the city, or he's pretending that he knows them. I heard thee speak a speech once, 'twere Aeneas' tale to Dido, and thereabout it especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. Hamlet starts the tale of the death of King Priam of Troy by Pyrrhus, with eyes like carbunches the Hellespirus old grandsire seeks. Do proceed you. Polonius tries to get in a compliment. For God, my lord, well spoken, with good accent and discretion. Hamlet doesn't take that compliment. The lead player continues the speech, but Polonius finds it a bit boring. Out, out, thou strumpet fortune, all you gods and general sire, take away her power, break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heavens as low to the fiends. This is too long, and how she witnessed her husband be slaughtered. It shall be to the barbers with your beard. Prithee say on, he's for a jig or a tale of bawdry, or he spiels. Say on, come to Hecuba. When she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods. Polonius is unimpressed that the actor would be moved by his own words. Look where he has not turned his color and has tears in his eyes. Prithee, no more. Hamlet, very impressed, not just by the actor, but by Hecuba acting like a queen should act. And so, he's very happy the actors are here, and he wants them to have the guests of honor at Elsinore. 'Tis well, I'll have thee speak out the rest of this soon. To Polonius, good lord, will you see the players well bestowed? My lord, I will use them according to their deserts. Again, like these are peasants. They can't be honored guests at courts. But Hamlet finds this unacceptable. God balkans, man, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who shall scape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in. But before the actors depart, Hamlet says something to the lead actor. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play the murder of Gonzago? Aye, my lord. Could you, for a need, study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert in it? Could you not? Aye, my lord. So Hamlet has a little addition for this set play. Hamlet then takes a moment to say goodbye to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. My good friends, I'll leave you until tonight. You are welcome to Elsinore. Good, my lord. With everybody gone, we get Hamlet's second soliloquy. We get an update on his mental health, and it is not good. Not only is that depression that he expressed in the first act there, but all of this stuff about the ghost, his father's murder, it's really eating away at him. And he just berates himself for not taking action. Now I'm alone. Oh, what a rough and peasant slave I am. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but for a friction and a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage worn, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting his forms to his concept, and all for nothing, for Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. I swore myself to revenge. Why have I not taken action yet? Yet I, a dull and muddy metal rascal, peak like John of Dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my pate across, plucks off my beard and blows in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie in the throat as deep as to the lungs? Who does this to me? Ah, swoons, I should take it, for it cannot be, but I am a pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter, or this I shall have fatted out against the regent kites with all the slaves offal. Bloody, bawdy villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain! Why, what an ass am I, This is most brave that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words and fall a-cursing like a very a stallion. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have, by the very cunning of the scene, been struck so to the soul. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks, I'll tempt him to the quick, and if he do blench, I know my course. Hamlet realizes he can't just take the ghost's word for it. He needs proof that Claudius killed King Hamlet before he can carry out his revenge. And there's a very good reason for that. Spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath the power to assume a pleasing shape, yea, perhaps, out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. That ghost may have been the devil pretending to be King Hamlet. Hamlet hopes the play will make everything clear. All have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. And that is Act 2, Scene 2. Recap. Some time has passed. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, boyhood friends of Hamlet, have been invited to court to spy on the prince, but learn nothing. The ambassadors report that Fortinbras wants permission to cross Denmark to attack Poland. Polonius claims Hamlet is mad due to Ophelia's rejected love, but learns nothing questioning the prince. Players arrive at court. Hamlet asks them to prepare a play. In private, Hamlet lambasts himself for not carrying out his revenge. But Hamlet is not procrastinating. He wants to take revenge, but he needs proof of Claudius's guilt. Hamlet will use the players to portray the murder of King Hamlet to see if Claudius reacts. Character perspectives. Claudius and Gertrude. They hope that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern can uncover the cause of Hamlet's madness, but Hamlet's negative reaction to them suggests that Claudius and Gertrude really don't know Hamlet that well, but they do agree to Polonius's plan to use Ophelia to get Hamlet to reveal himself. Polonius assumes he's on top of the whole Hamlet situation. He's convinced that Hamlet is in love with Ophelia, and he reads one of the love letters that Hamlet wrote as proof. He is planning an encounter between Prince Hamlet and Ophelia where he hopes that Hamlet's going to reveal some deep dark secret. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, invited to court to entreat Hamlet and get him to open up. They hope to be rewarded for their efforts. Inform Hamlet of the players, but learn nothing. The players, actors from the city. Hamlet seems familiar with their work. They are warmly welcomed, but they're being used. Hamlet, as of late, has been acting strangely around court, wandering the halls for hours and speaking nonsense. He is tortured by inaction. He can't kill Claudius unless he is sure that the ghost was truthful, and his depression continues. He plans to use the play to catch Claudius. A quick recap of Act 2. The court wants to know, why has Hamlet's mourning turned to madness? Polonius, always involved in his children's lives, believes it is because Ophelia stopped her correspondence. Polonius plots to spy on an arranged conversation between Hamlet and Ophelia. Claudius and Gertrude hire Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, boyhood friends of Hamlet, to report on his actions. Claudius agrees to Polonius's plan, and let's emphasize that Hamlet continues to be furious with Gertrude and wants to take revenge on Claudius. However, what if the ghost was lying? He plans to get the players to reenact the death of King Hamlet. If Claudius looks guilty, he'll have the proof. He claims to be pretending to be mad, but his soliloquies reveal his actual mental state. And a major plot point. Old Norway recalls his nephew, Prince Fortinbras, and his troops. Norway requests safe passage for its forces across Denmark. Claudius agrees to the treaty. And like everything in this play, all actions have consequences. And that is Act 2. If you check out the description, I have a link to Act 3. And in the meantime, I thank you for your time. Grand Hall of Elsinore. Polonius arranges an encounter between Hamlet and Ophelia. After a soliloquy, Hamlet and Ophelia try to talk, but it falls apart. Claudius resolves to send Hamlet away. We start with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern briefing Claudius and Gertrude that they've been unable to get anything out of Hamlet. Rosencrantz: he does confess he feels distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak. Guildenstern: nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring him on some confession of his true state. So Hamlet's being cagey. Claudius: did he receive you well? Rosencrantz: most like a gentleman. Guildenstern: but with much forcing of his disposition. But they may have some good news. Gertrude: did you essay him in any pastime? Guildenstern: Madam, it so fell out that certain players we overwrought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are here about the court, and, as I think, they have already ordered this night to play before him. Polonius concurs. 'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter. Claudius: with all my heart, and it doth most content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge in, and drive his purpose into these delights. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit. Claudius: sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may hear affront Ophelia. Her lawful father and myself so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge. Before departing, Gertrude says to Ophelia that she hopes that the cause of Hamlet's madness is lovesickness, because perhaps that's a matter easily solved. Gertrude: I shall obey you, and for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors. Ophelia: Madam, I wish it may. Quick point: Ophelia believes Polonius. Ophelia believes that she is the cause of Hamlet's madness. Polonius gives some last-minute instructions to Ophelia. Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we may bestow ourselves. He then gives her a prayer book, and in his long-winded way explains that if she looks like she's been praying, she'll look all the more innocent. To which Claudius comments in an aside, Oh, 'tis true, how smart a lash that speech doth give my conscience. Oh, heavy burden. What is the burden that's bothering Claudius? But we'll learn more about that later. Polonius: I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord. And now we get the famous to be or not to be soliloquy. If you're not familiar with this speech, it is about self-harm, idolation. And so I just give you a quick advisory about that. In the meantime, let's emphasize that Hamlet is in a depressed state. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take up arms against the sea of troubles and, by opposing, end them. To die, to sleep, no more, and by its sleep to say, we end the heartache of the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Ah, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, who knows what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurs that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those wills we have that fly to other that we know not of. Thus conscience makes cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickled over with the pale cast of thoughts, at enterprises of great pitch, and moment with this regard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Hamlet then notices Ophelia approaching. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia. He speaks to Ophelia. Nymph, in thy orisons be all sins remembered. Ophelia, good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day? I humbly thank you well. Ophelia has the letters that he wrote to her, and she wants to give him back his stuff. My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed long to deliver. I pray you now receive them. Hamlet's mood begins to change as he becomes more and more angry at this situation. No, not I. I never gave you aught. Ophelia, my honored lord, you know right well you did, and with them words of so sweet breath compose as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord. Hamlet becomes hostile. Ha! Are you honest, my lord? Are you fair? What means your lordship? That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty. Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty? Hamlet's accusing her of being dishonest. Ah, truly, for the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was something of a paradox, but now time gives it proof. I did love you once. Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so. You should not have believed me, for virtue cannot so inculcate our old stock that we shall relish of it. I loved you not. I was the more deceived. All of Hamlet's anger is about to come out, and Ophelia is the target. Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldest thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that'd be better if my mother had never borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Hamlet realizes he said too much, and something seems off. Where's your father? At home, my lord. Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell. Ophelia, thinking she's the cause of all of this, begins to panic. Oh, help him, you sweet heavens! If thou dost marry, I'll give you this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery, farewell. Heavenly powers restore him, or if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool, for wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly too, farewell. I have heard your paintings too well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig and amble, and you lisp. You nickname God's creatures and make wantonness your ignorance. Go to. I'll no more on it. It hath made me mad. I say we will have no more marriage. Those who are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go. Hamlet exits. Ophelia is completely shaken. Oh, what a noble mind here is overthrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the excellency and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion, and the mold of form, the observers, quite down. And I, of ladies most dejected and wretched, that suckled the honey of his music vows, now see that noble mind and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled, out of time and harsh, that unmatched form and stature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me to have seen what I have seen. Claudius and Polonius emerge from their hiding space. Claudius is convinced this is not mad love. Love? His affections do not that way trend, nor what he spake. though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. Claudius has a favor with the English court, and he's going to use it. There's something to his soul over which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger. Which for to prevent, I have made a quick determination, thus set it down, he shall with speed to England for the demand of our neglected tribute. Claudius hopes some time away from court will do Hamlet good. Happily the seas, and courtiers different, with variable objects, shall expel this something, settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating, puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you on it? Polonius agrees with Claudius's plan, but he still thinks the cause of Hamlet's madness is unrequited love, and he thinks if Gertrude talks to Hamlet, maybe she can get the truth out of him. My lord, do as you please, but if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat with him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think. So this spying on Hamlet didn't work, but maybe if we try to spy on him again, that plan will work. Claudius, it shall be so. Madness and great ones must not unwatched go. End scene. Recap Act 3, Scene 1. Hamlet's depression continues. Polonius' plan backfires. Hamlet is pushed further into real madness. Claudius decides to send Hamlet to England to recuperate. Polonius suggests Gertrude speak with her son. Perspectives. Ophelia. Convinced Hamlet is madly in love with her. She is forced into an encounter with the prince where he becomes aggressive. Feels much guilt for causing Hamlet's madness. Polonius insists that his plan revealed Hamlet's love madness. Suggests that Gertrude confront Hamlet about his madness after the player's performance. Claudius, unconvinced that Ophelia is the cause of Hamlet's madness, plans to send Hamlet to England until his madness subsides. Agrees with the suggestion Gertrude speak with Hamlet. Hamlet, thoughts on self-harm, not revenge, quickly turns on Ophelia and reveals his true madness, to be sent to England for recovery. Audience point of view. Is Hamlet capable of carrying out his revenge? Because he does seem to be in a sad state. How will he react to being sent to England? And will he confess his thoughts to Gertrude? Act 3, Scene 2, Grand Hall of Elsinore. Hamlet greets the court before the performance. He is cruel to Ophelia. The players reenact the murder of King Hamlet. Claudius appears guilty. Prince Hamlet claims victory. The scene opens with Hamlet telling the players, "Speak the speech, I pray you." He then goes on to a long dialogue about how actors should act. It's probably more about how Shakespeare thought actors should act in his own time. So if you'd like me to get into that, I can do a video on it. Otherwise, I'm just going to move on with the scene. Polonius enters with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. "How now, my lord? Will the king hear this piece of work?" Polonius, "And the queen too, and that presently." Horatio enters. We haven't seen him since Act 1 and we're not sure what he's been up to, but Hamlet greets him. "What ho, Horatio! Here, sweet lord, at your service." Hamlet appears to pay Horatio a compliment. "Horatio, thou art even as just a man as ever my conversation coped withal." Horatio, "Oh, my dear lord." But Hamlet wasn't being complimentary. He just wants to remind Horatio that he is his servant. "Hey, do not think I flatter. For what advancement may I hope from thee, that no revenue hast but thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee? What should the poor be flattered? No, let the candy-tongued licked absurd pomp and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee, where thrift may follow flaunting." Hamlet is telling Horatio, "You're the only person that I trust. Dost thou hear? Since my dear soul was mistress of her choice and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself. For thou hast been as one in suffering, all that suffers nothing, a man that fortune's buffets and rewards hath taken with equal thanks, whose blood and judgments are so well commeddled, that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger to sound, what stop she please. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core, aye, in my heart of here, as I do thee." Horatio, you're really important to the plan I have here. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul observe my uncle. If his occulted guilt do not itself unkennelled in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's Scythe. So please keep a close eye on Claudius and see if he acts suspicious. Give me heedful note, for mine eyes will revert his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming. Horatio agrees to help. Well, my lord, if he steals aught while else this play is playing and escape detecting, I will pay the theft. The court enters. They are coming to the play. I must be idle. Get to your place. Claudius greets Hamlet and gets a nonsensical reply. How fares our cousin Hamlet? Excellent. In faith of the chameleon's dish, I eat the air. Promise crammed. You cannot feed capers so. Hamlet then asks Polonius if he's ever tried acting before. That I did, my lord, and I was accounted a good actor. What did you enact? I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me. Oh, what a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready? Rosencrantz, aye, my lord, they stand upon your patience. Gertrude would like Hamlet to sit beside her, but Hamlet has another idea. Come hither, my dear Hamlet, sit by me. No, good mother, here's metal more attractive. Polonius hopes that Claudius is noting this conversation. Oh ho, do you mark that? Hamlet proceeds with making Ophelia extremely uncomfortable. Lady, shall I lie in your lap? No, my lord. I mean, my head upon your lap. Aye, my lord. Did you think I meant country matters? I think nothing, my lord. Hamlet makes a pun about what lies between maids' legs. That's a fair thought, to lie between maids' legs. What is that, my lord? Nothing. You are merry, my lord. Who, I? I, my lord. Oh God, you're only jig-maker. What should a man do but be merry? For look how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father's died within 2 hours. Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord. So long? Nay, then let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Oh heavens, died 2 months ago, and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope for a great man's memory may outlive his life half a year. But, by Our Lady, he must build churches then, or else he shall suffer not thinking on, with the hobby horse whose epitaph is, for oh ho, the hobby horse is forgot. The players enter and perform a dumb show. A dumb show is like a trailer for the play. They enact the whole play without saying anything. So what they're about to show, they show, but there's no reaction from the court. It's possible that they're distracted in getting their seats. But Hamlet and Ophelia discuss it. Ophelia is not familiar with a dumb show. What means this, my lord? Marry, it is mischi malacho. It means mischief. Belike this show imports the argument in the play. We shall know by this fellow. The players cannot keep counsel. They'll tell all. Will he tell us what the show meant? Aye, or any show that you will show him. Be not ashamed to show. He'll not shame to tell you what it means. You are not. I'll mark the play. The prologue begins. For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently. Is this a prologue or the posy of a ring? 'Tis brief, my lord, as woman's love. The play within the play begins, and the king and queen declare their love for one another. Full 30 time, Phoebus' cart gone round Neptune's salt wash, and Tellus' orbit ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world have times 12 30s been since love our hearts, and Hymen did our hands unite communal in most sacred bands. But the player queen is concerned about the health of her husband. So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count over ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer, and from your former state, that I distrust you. Yet, though I discomfort you, my lord, it nothing must, for women fear too much, even as they love, and women's fear and love hold quantity in neither aught or in extremity. Now what my love is, truth hath made you known, and as my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love is great, the little doubts are fear. Where little fear grows great, great love is there. The king feels he doesn't have long left, but when he's gone, he would like her to remarry. Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operative powers their functions leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and happily as kind for husband shalt thou. But the queen won't hear of this. Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs to treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first. Hamlet finds that line bitter. That's wormwood. The queen continues. The instances that second marriage move are base respect of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed. The king is listening, but when he's gone, you're going to change your mind. I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. Purpose is but the slave to memory, of violent birth, of but poor validity, which now the fruit unripe sticks on the tree, but fall unshaken when they mellow be. Most necessarily 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is debt, what to ourselves in passion we purpose, the passion ending, doth the purpose lose, the violence of either grief or joy, their own enactors with themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament, grief joys, joy grieves, on slender accident. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange, that even our loves should with our fortunes change, for 'tis a question left us yet to prove, whether love lead fortune, or else fortune love. The great man down, you mark his favorite flies, the poor, advance, makes friends of enemies, and hither doth love on fortune tend, for who not needs shall never lack a friend, and who would want a hallow friend doth try directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly to end where I begun, our wills and fates do not contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown, our thoughts are ours, their ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead. He insists that she remarry. Nor earth to give me food, nor heaven light, sport and repose, lock me from day and night, to desperation turn my trust and hope, an anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy, meet what I would have done, and it destroy, but here and hence purpose me lasting strife, if, once a widow, ever I be wife. Hamlet is engrossed. If she should break now. The king is touched by her words, but now he must rest. 'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep. Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain. Hamlet checks for Gertrude's approval. Madam, how you like the play? Gertrude, the lady doth protest too much, methinks. Oh, but she'll keep her word. Claudius thinks something's up. Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it? No, no, they do but jest. Prison and jest, no offense in the world. What do you call this play? The Mousetrap. Mary, how? Tropically, this play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the duke's name, his wife's Baptista. You shall see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the galled jade wince, our withers are unwrung. This one is Lucianus, nephew to the king. Ophelia tries to break the tension. You are as good as the chorus, my lord. I could interpret between you and your love, if I could see the puppets dallying. You are keen, my lord, you are keen. It would cost you a groaning to take off mine edge. Still better and worse. But Hamlet wants the play to continue. So you mistake your husbands. Begin, murderer. Box, leave thy damned faces and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge. Enter the murderer with ear poison. Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing, Confederate season, else no creature seeing, thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with hectates banned, thrice blasted, thrice infected, thy natural magic and dire property on wholesome life usurp immediately. Hamlet becomes the chorus. He poisoned him in the garden for his estate. His name's Gonzago. The story is extant and written in very choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife. Claudius reacts. The king rises. Hamlet is gleeful. What? Frightened with false fire? Polonius calls off the play, and Claudius storms out. Gertrude. How fares my lord? Polonius. Give over the play. Claudius. Give me some light. Away! Everyone but Hamlet and Horatio exit. The prince sings his triumph. Why, let the shrunken deer go weep, and heart ungalled play, for some must watch, while some must sleep. Thus runs the world away. Hamlet checks in with Horatio. Would not this, sir, and a force of feathers, if the rest of my fortunes turn Turk with me, with 2 provincial roses on raised shoes, give me a fellowship and a cry of players. Half a share? Horatio doesn't seem that excited, perhaps because he just saw Hamlet's madness on display. A whole one eye, for thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here a very, very Pajuk. You might have rhymed. Oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost word for £1,000. Didst perceive? Very well, my lord. Upon the talk of the poisoning. I did very well note him. Hamlet calls for music. Aha! Come, some music. Come, the recorders. For if the king like not the comedy, why then, belike he likes it not. Parody. Come, some music. Guildenstern. Good my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you. Sir, a whole history. The king, sir. Aye, sir, what of him? In his retirement marvellous distempered. With drink, sir? No, my lord, with choler. Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor, for me to put him in his purgation would perhaps plunge him to more choler. Good my lord, put your discourse into some frame, and start no so wildly from my affair. I am tame, sir. Pronounce. The queen your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, has sent me to you. You are welcome. Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business. Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But, sir, such an answer as I can make, you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more but to the matter. My mother, you say. Guildenstern is telling Hamlet that Gertrude wants to speak to him immediately. Then thus she says, your behavior has struck her into amazement and admiration. Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother! But is there no sequel at the heels to this mother's admiration? Impart. She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed. We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother, have you any further trade with us? Rosencrantz appeals to their childhood together and makes another attempt to get some kind of answer out of Hamlet. My lord, you once did love me, and still do, by these pickers and stealers. Good my lord, what is the cause of distemper? You surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friends. Sir, I lack advancement. How can that be, when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession of Denmark? Aye, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. Oh, the recorders, let me see one, to withdraw with you. Why do you go about to recover the wind of me, as if you would drive me into a toil? Hamlet would like Guildenstern to try one of the recorders. Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly. I do not understand that. Will you play upon this pipe? My lord, I cannot. I pray you. Believe me, I cannot. I do beseech you. I know no touch of it, my lord. It is as easy as living. Govern these ventages with your fingers and thumb, give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops. But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill. Why, look at you now. How unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak. S'blood, do you think I am easier to be played than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me. Polonius enters. God bless you, sir. My lord, the queen would like to speak with you, and presently. Hamlet pretends not to hear. Do you see yonder clouds that's almost in the shape of a camel? By the mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed. Methinks it is like a weasel. It is backed like a weasel. Or like a whale, very much like a whale. Then we'll come to my mother by and by. Then an aside, they fool me to the top of my bent. I will come by and by. Polonius, I will say so. By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. Everyone except Hamlet exit, and we get a little soliloquy. 'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business of the day would quake to look on, soft now to my mother. Hamlet is ready to take revenge, but don't let Gertrude talk you out of it. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not even the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words somever shall she shent, to give them seals never, my soul content. Recap, Act 3, Scene 2. Hamlet's plan seems to have worked. Claudius looked guilty while watching the play. Hamlet's madness was on full display for the court. Claudius is furious, and Gertrude wants to speak to Hamlet immediately. Perspectives. The players. Hired to perform a known play with some modifications. We don't learn if they are punished, but we do see that Hamlet is willing to use people to get his revenge. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. They continue to inform on Hamlet to the king. Hamlet continues to evade their questions and inform Hamlet he is to see his mother in her room immediately. Polonius. Moving forward with his plan to spy on Hamlet in Gertrude's room, he reminds Hamlet to go immediately, and he is still holding out that the cause of his madness is lovesickness over Ophelia. Ophelia. Hamlet continues to be verbally abusive, but she just has to take it. She is humiliated at the play, and she does think she's the cause of Hamlet's madness, so she has that guilt riding on her. Horatio. Notified of the play plan to catch the conscience of the king, Hamlet considers him to be his most trusted confidant, but also a servant. Horatio seems to accept this role. Hamlet. Still playing mad for the court. He is impatient during the scene, but his plan works. Claudius appears guilty when the player king is assassinated. Treats Horatio, Ophelia, and the players poorly. Claudius and Gertrude. They were looking forward to the play, but leave furious. It wasn't Gertrude's idea to speak to Hamlet privately, but she wants to now. Claudius is furious. Does Hamlet know something? Audience point of view. Claudius seems startled by the play within the play. Is he guilty? Will Hamlet finally carry his revenge before he's sent to England? And what will Gertrude say to her son? Act 3, Scene 3, Private Room in Elsinore. Claudius informs Rosencrantz and Guildenstern that they are to escort Hamlet to England. He decides to pray. Hamlet sneaks up on him, but cannot carry out his revenge. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, still glad to help. We will ourselves provide. Most holy and religious spirit is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty. Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we may fetters put about this fear, which now goes too free-footed. We will haste us. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit. Polonius enters, informs Claudius that he's off to Gertrude's room to spy on Hamlet. My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras I'll convey myself to hear the process. I'll warrant she'll tax him home, and, as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should overhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed, and tell you what I know. Polonius exits, and in a soliloquy we get a confession from Claudius. Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and, like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. He is filled with guilt over what he's done. If only he could pray to relieve this guilt. What is this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardon being down? Then I'll look up, my fault is past, but oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me for my foul murder? That cannot be, since I am still possessed of these effects for which I did the murder, my crown, my own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? How can he truly be sorry if he wants to continue being king and married to Gertrude? After all, heaven knows all. In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in its true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give an evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Then what can it, when one cannot repent? O wretched state! O bosom black as death! O limed, that struggling to be free, art more engaged! Help, angels, make us say, bow, stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel be as soft as sinews of the newborn bass. All may be well. He's going to at least try to pray. And so, as he's kneeling, Hamlet enters. Here is his opportunity to take revenge. Now might I do it, Pat. Now he is a praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and I am so revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven? Catholic belief here. If Claudius dies praying, there's a chance he'll go directly to heaven. And how is that revenge? Hamlet wants Claudius to go to hell for what he did. Why? This is higher in salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flesh as May, and how his audit stands, who knows save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up, sword, and know that a more horrid hent, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at game, a swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it. Hamlet will wait till Claudius is sinning to carry out his revenge. Then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell. Whereto it goes, my mother stays. This psychic but prolongs thy sickly days. Hamlet exits to go talk to Gertrude. Claudius, in a new soliloquy, says, my words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. Claudius wasn't actually praying. He couldn't bring himself to do it. So, in dramatic irony, Hamlet misses the opportunity for his revenge. Recap Act 3, Scene 3. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are to escort Hamlet to England. Claudius admits his guilt to the audience, but cannot confess to heaven. Hamlet passes on his opportunity to take revenge. Perspectives. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, commissioned to escort Hamlet to England, they are thankful for the opportunity, praise Claudius for keeping the whole kingdom safe. Polonius informs Claudius he is going to spy on Hamlet's encounter with Gertrude. He will report back after. Reminder, he still believes that Hamlet is lovesick for Ophelia. Claudius confesses he is responsible for his brother's death. He wants forgiveness, but not as much as he wants the crown and Gertrude. He tries to pray, but is unable to find the words. Hamlet. He feels entirely justified to carry out revenge at this point, but he decides not to kill Claudius because he's afraid of praying Claudius will go to heaven and thus be unpunished. Audience point of view. Hamlet has proof of Claudius's guilt. Claudius has confessed to the audience. When will he get his revenge? Hamlet passing on the opportunity to take revenge raises questions of his ability. What will happen when Hamlet speaks to Gertrude? Act 3, Scene 4, The Chambers of Gertrude. Polonius is hiding in Gertrude's room to listen to her conversation with Hamlet. Hamlet, thinking he has Claudius, kills Polonius. Hamlet speaks to a shocked Gertrude. Polonius reminds Gertrude of the task while they can hear Hamlet approaching. He will come straight. Look you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace has screened and stood between much heat and him. All silence me even here. Pray you, be round with him. Mother! 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 I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming. The confrontation begins as soon as Hamlet enters the room. How, mother, what's the matter? Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended. Mother, you have my father much offended. Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue. Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue. Why, how now, Hamlet? What's the matter now? Have you forgotten me? No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's wife, and were it were not so, you are my mother. Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak. Come, come, and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you. What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help me. Polonius, fearing something is up, calls for help. What? Ho, help! Hamlet, assuming that's Claudius behind the heiress, attacks. How now, a rat, dead for a ducat, dead. Oh, I am slain. Hamlet stabs the curtain, not knowing who's behind it. Gertrude, what have you done? Nay, I know not. Is it the king? He pulls back the heiress, and they see Polonius's body. Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this? A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother. Hamlet feels no remorse for what he's done. As kill a king? Aye, lady, it was my word. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou findest to be too busy in some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down, and let me wring your heart, for so I shall if it be made of penetrable stuff. It damned custom have not braced it so, that it be proof and bulwark against sense. What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me? Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love, and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicers' oaths. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face does glow over this solidity, and compound mass with heated visage, as against the doom, is thought sick at the act. Ay me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index? There are portraits of both Claudius and King Hamlet in the room. Hamlet refers to the portraits. Look here upon this picture and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on his brow, Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threatening command, a station like the herald Mercury new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill, a combination of form and deed, where God did seem to set his seat to give the world assurances of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Ha! Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon judgment, and what judgment would step back from this? Why did you need to remarry anyways? You're old. Sense sure you have, else could you have motion, but sure that sense is epilexed, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was never so thralled, but it reserves some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. Where is your shame? What devil was it that thus has cozened you at hoodman blind, eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sans all, or but a sickly part of one true sense, could not so mope? O shame, where is thy blush? Rebellious hell, if thou canst mutine in a maiden's bones, to flaming youth let virtue be as wax and melt in her own fire. Proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardor gives the charge, since fraughts itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will. Gertrude can't take it. Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turnest my eyes into my very soul, and there I can see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tinct. Nay, but to live in rank and sweet of an inseminate bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty. Oh, speak to me no more. These words are like daggers enter my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet. A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the teeth of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cutpurse of the empire, and the rule that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put you in his pocket. Suddenly the ghost appears, but only Hamlet can see it. No more! A king of shreds and patches. Save me and hover over me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure? Gertrude, seeing nothing. Alas, he's mad. Hamlet to the ghost. Do you not come your tardy son to chide that lapse in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command? Oh, say. The ghost speaks to Hamlet, reminding him that he's to leave Gertrude alone. Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest body stronger works. Speak to her, Hamlet. How is it with you, lady? Alas, how is it with you, that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Forth at your eyes your spirits widely peep, and as sleeping soldiers in thy alarm. Hamlet's hair is sticking on end. Your bedded hair, like life and excrements, step up and stand on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look? On him! On him! Look you how pale he glares! His forms and cause conjoined, preaching to stones, would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this pious action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have do will want truer color, tears perchance for blood. To whom do you speak this? Do you see nothing there? No, nothing but ourselves. The ghost starts to fade out the window. Why, look you there! Look how it steals away! My father, in his habit as he lived, look where he goes even now out the portal. This is the very coinage of your brain. this bodiliest creation ecstasy in very cunning in. Ecstasy? My pulses yours doth temperly keep time, and makes his healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Hamlet denies being mad. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword, which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not thy flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what's to come. Hamlet wants Gertrude to repent now. And do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Forgive me this virtue, for in the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon beg, year curb, and woo for leave to do him good. O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain. Oh, throw away the worser part, and live the pure with the other half. Good night, but go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. That monster, custom, who all sense doth eat, of habits devil, is angle yet in this, yet to the use of actions fair and good, he likewise gives a frock or livery that aptly to put on. Hamlet wants Gertrude to start acting appropriately. Change is difficult at first, but it gets easier. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy, for use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either the devil or throw him out in wondrous potency. Once more, good night, and when you are desirous to the blessed, a blessing beg of you. Hamlet expresses some remorse over Polonius. For this same Lord I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. This bad begins, and worse remains behind. Onward more, good lady. What shall I do? Not this by no means that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to his bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reechy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers. Hamlet claims to know exactly what he's doing. Make you to ravel all this matter out, that I am essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you'd let him know, for who that's but a queen fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a gib, such dear concernings hide. Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape, to try conclusions in the bass's creep, and break your own neck down. Hamlet wants to keep this conversation between the two of them. Be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me. I must to England, you know that. Alack, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on. So Hamlet knows he's to go to England. There's letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will address fanged, they bear the mandate. They must sweep my way, and to marshal me to knavery. Let it work, for 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard. So Hamlet will go willingly to England. And it shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds, and blow them to the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet when in one line 2 crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighboring room. And with that, Hamlet drags Polonius's body out of Gertrude's room. Recapped Act 3, Scene 4. Hamlet, assuming Claudius is hiding in Gertrude's room, slays Polonius. Gertrude is shocked by her son's violent behavior. He speaks harshly to her. The ghost appears to remind Hamlet to leave his mother alone. Hamlet calms and advises Gertrude to stay away from Claudius. Before departing for England, Hamlet pulls Polonius' body from the room. Perspectives. Polonius. He still assumes that Hamlet is lovesick. He hopes Hamlet will confess to Gertrude, so he hides behind a curtain. When Hamlet gets physical with Gertrude, Polonius calls for help, and Hamlet assaults the curtain, killing him. Gertrude. not prepared for this encounter. She witnesses Hamlet murdering Polonius, accusing Claudius, and speaking to the air. She seems to listen to Hamlet, but is taken aback by his madness. Hamlet. He is agitated and becomes physical with his mother. Feels Polonius got what he deserved. Shamed by the ghost, he tries to speak more gently, advising his mother to stay away from Claudius. Audience point of view. How will Laertes and Ophelia react to the death of their father? How will Claudius react? Will Hamlet be punished for what he did? What will Gertrude do about Claudius? Recap Act 3. Polonius' scheming is his undoing. His plan to spy on Ophelia and Hamlet fails, and he is killed when he tries to spy again. The play within the play reveals Claudius' guilt. He confesses to the murder. He orders Hamlet to England. Hamlet cannot carry out his revenge because he wants to ensure punishment. So let's get started. Act 4, Scene 1, Private Room in Elsinore. Claudius is informed about Polonius. He orders Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to find Hamlet and the body. Gertrude finds Claudius with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. He knows something is wrong, and she asks for some privacy. There's matters in these sights, these profound heaves you must translate. 'Tis fit we understand them. Where is your son? Bestow this place on us a little while. Ah, Lord, what I have seen tonight. What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet? Mad as the sea and wind when both contend which is the mightier, in his lawless sit, behind the arras hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries, a rat, and in this brandish apprehension kills the unseen good old man. Claudius correctly assumes he was the target. Oh, heavy deed! It had been so with us, had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? It will be laid to us, whose providence shall have kept short, restrained, and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit, but like the owner of a foul disease, to keep it from divulging, let it feed even on the pith of life. Where is he gone? Gertrude believes Hamlet is remorseful. To draw apart the body he hath killed, over whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metal's base, shows itself pure. He weeps for what he has done. Hamlet needs to go immediately. Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence, and this vile deed we must with all our majesty and skill both countenance and excuse. Ho, Guildenstern! Claudius is ordering Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to get Hamlet to England right away. Friends both, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go, seek him, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you, hasten this. Claudius wants to talk to his advisors. They need to avoid a scandal. Come, Gertrude, we'll call upon our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do, what untimely's done. Whose whispers over the world's diameter, as level as the cannon in his blank transport his prison shot, may miss our name and hit the woundless air. Oh, come away, my soul is full of discord and dismay. Act 4, Scene 2, inside Elsinore. Hamlet refuses to reveal the location of the body. He leads Rosencrantz and Guildenstern on a chase. Hamlet has just hidden the body and he can hear his name being called off stage. Safely stowed. Hamlet! Lord Hamlet! But soft, what noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Oh, here they come. What have you done, my lord, with the dead body? Compounded it with dust, whereto 'tis kin. Tell us where 'tis, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel. Do not believe it. Believe what? That I can keep my counsel and not my own. Besides, to be demanded for a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of a king? Take me for a sponge, my lord. Aye, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities, but such officers do the king best service in the end. Hamlet says, you're being used, you just don't see it. He keeps them like an ape an apple in the corner of his jaw, first mouthed to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you shall be dry again. I understand you not, my lord. I am glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear. My lord, you must tell us where the body is, and go with us to the king. The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing thing, my lord? Of nothing. Bring me to him. Hide fox, and after. And Hamlet gives chase. Act 4, Scene 3, Private Room in Elsinore. After being questioned by Claudius, Hamlet reveals the location of Polonius. Hamlet is to leave for England immediately. However, in a letter to the English court, Claudius requests the execution of Hamlet. Claudius remarks that because the people like Hamlet, he can't be punished. I have sent to seek him and find the body. How dangerous it is that this man goes loose. Yet must not we put the strong law of him? He's loved by the distracted multitude, who like not in their judgment, but their eyes. And where, 'tis so, the offender's scourge is weighted, but never the offense. To bear all smooth and even, the sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Disease desperate grown by desperate appliance are relieved or not at all. Even though Hamlet was already going to England, doing this right after the murder of Polonius looks very suspicious. Rosencrantz arrives with an update. How now? What has befallen? Where the body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him. But where is he? Without, my lord, guarded, to know your pleasure. Bring him in before us. Ho! Bring in the lord! Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius? At supper. At supper where? Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are even at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes but to 1 table. That's the end. Alas, alas, a man may fish with that worm that hath eat a king, and eat a fish that had fed on that worm. What doth mean by this? Nothing but to show you how a king may go progress through the guts of a beggar. Where is Polonius? In heaven. Send thither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But if, indeed, you find him not within a month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs to the lobby. Go seek him there. He'll stay until you come. Hamlet, this deed for thine especial safety, which do we tender, as we dearly grieve for that which thus is done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready, and the wind at help, the associates tend, and everything is bent for England. For England? Aye, Hamlet. Good. So is it, if thou knewest our purpose. I see a cherub that sees them, but come, for England, farewell, dear mother. Thy loving father, Hamlet. My mother? Father and mother is man and wife is one flesh, and so, my mother, come, for England. Follow him at foot, tempt him with speed abroad, delay it not. I'll have him hence tonight. Away, for everything is sealed and done that leans in the affair. Pray you, make haste. All exit but Claudius, and in a soliloquy, Claudius points out that England owes Denmark a favor, and he's calling it in. And England, if my love thou holds at aught, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, since yet this Citrius looks raw and red after the Danish sword, and thy free awe pays homage to us, thou mayest not coldly set our sovereign process, which imparts at full, by letters conjuring to that effect, the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England! For like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me, till I know 'tis done, however, my haps, my joys will never begin. Recap Act 4, Scenes 1 through 3. Hamlet is taken into custody. Polonius' body is found. Claudius realizes that Hamlet wants to kill him, so he is asking the English court to execute him upon his arrival. Perspectives. Gertrude. She informs Claudius of the murder of Polonius. Claims that Hamlet is remorseful, but says nothing of their conversation. Keeps some distance from Claudius. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern continue to take orders from Claudius. They are to escort Hamlet to England, but he warns them that they are being used. They are unaware that they carry Hamlet's execution order. Claudius. Between the play within the play and the death of Polonius, it is clear Hamlet wants him dead. Claudius plots to have the English court execute Hamlet. Hamlet. It is difficult to tell the difference between real and feigned madness. He makes a game out of hiding Polonius' body and claims that he is happy to be going to England. Audience point of view. The people may forgive Hamlet for his crime, but how will Ophelia and Laertes react? How will Hamlet escape from Claudius' plan? What else is going on in the kingdom with chaos at court? Act 4, Scene 4, Exterior of Elsinore. Prince Fortinbras and his forces arrive on their way to Poland. He sends an officer forward to confirm passage. The officer speaks with Hamlet. Hamlet is inspired by the soldier's sacrifice and reconfirms his commitment to revenge. For the first time, we hear Fortinbras, who tells his captain to go check with Claudius and confirm they have free passage across Denmark to Poland. Go, captain. From me greet the Danish king. Tell him that by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous? If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye, and let him know so. I will do it, my lord. Go softly. The captain encounters Hamlet and his entourage, and Hamlet questions the captain. Good sir, whose powers are these? They are of Norway, sir. How purpose, sir, I pray you? Against some part of Poland. Who commands them, sir? The nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras. The captain explains that there is no glory in this adventure. Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, or some frontier? True to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath no profit but the name, to pay 5 ducats. 5. I would not farm it, nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole a ranker rate should it be sold in fee. Why then, the Polak will never defend it. Yes, it is already garrisoned. 2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will not debate this question to the straw. This is the imposture of much wealth and peace, that inward breaks and shows no cause, without the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir. God be with you, sir. So Hamlet is taken back by this great sacrifice. Hamlet would like a moment to think about all of this before continuing. Rosencrantz, will it please you to go, my lord? I'll be with you straight. Go a little before. All exit but Hamlet, and in this soliloquy, he talks about how he's impressed by Fortinbras, and it reminds him, I really need to get my revenge. How all occasions do form against me, and spur my dull revenge. What is a man, if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast, no more. Sure, he that hath made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to thus in us unused. Now, whether it be beastful oblivion, or some craven scruple of thinking, too precisely on the event, a thought which, quartered, hath 1 part wisdom, and ever 3 parts coward, I do not know why yet I live to say, this thing's to do, sith I have cause, and will, and strength, and the means to do it. Examples gross as earth extort me. Witness this army of such mass in charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puff makes mouth at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Rightly to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor's at stake. How stand I, then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep, while to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and content to hide slain. Oh, from this time forth my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth. Enough messing around, it's time I got my revenge. As soon as I get back from England. Act 4, Scene 5, Grand Hall of Elsinore. Ophelia, overcome by grief, has gone mad. She rambles to members of the court. Suddenly, Laertes arrives with armed men. He blames Claudius for the death of his father. Upon seeing his sister, he shuts down. An attendant and Horatio inform Gertrude that an unwell Ophelia really wants to speak to Gertrude. I will not speak with her. She is importunate, indeed distract. Her mood will needs to pitied. What will she have? She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurs enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearer to collection. They aim at it and botch the words up fit to their own thoughts. So similar to Prince Hamlet, there's a meaning in Ophelia's ramblings, which, as her winks and nods and gestures yield them, indeed would make one think there might be thought, though nothing sure, yet much happily. 'Twere good she were spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds. Let her come in. In an aside, Gertrude remarks that it's just one misfortune after another. To my sick soul, as sin's true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some great amiss, so full of artless jealousy is guilt, it spills itself in fearing to be split. Ophelia enters. Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark? How now, Ophelia? Ophelia starts singing. How should I know your true love from one another by this cockle-hatted staff in his sandals soon? Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song? Say you, nay, pray, you mark, he is dead and gone, lady, he is dead and gone, at his head a grass-green turf, at his heels a stone, oh ho! Nay, but Ophelia, pray you, mark, nay, pray you, mark, white his shroud as the mountain snow. Claudius enters. Alas, look here, my lord. Claudius tries to talk to her. Larded with sweet flowers, which bewept to the ground, did not go with true love showers. How do you, pretty lady? Well, God dild you. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. God be at your table. Conceit upon her father. Ophelia sings of a maid being deflowered. Pray, let's have no words of this, but when they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning betime, and I am made at your window, to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes, and duped the chamber door, let in the maid, that out of maid never departed more. Pretty Ophelia. Indeed, without an oath, I'll make an end on it. By Gis and by Saint Charity, alack and fie for shame, young men will do it, if they come to it, by cock they are to blame. Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. He answers, so would I ha' done, but yonder sun, and thou hast come to my bed. How long has she been thus? Ophelia predicts the return of her brother. I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose to weep, to think that they would lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it, and so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach, good ladies, good night, sweet ladies, good night, good night. Follow her close, give her good watch, I pray you. Claudius counts off their problems. Oh, this is poison of deep grief. It springs from her father's death, and now behold, oh, Gertrude, Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not in single spies, but in battalions. First, her father slain, next, your son gone, and he most violent author of his own just remove. As predicted, people are talking about Polonius and a cover-up. He was buried quickly and without ceremony. The people muddled, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts, and whispers for good Polonius's death, and we have done but greenly in hunger-monger to intern him. Poor Ophelia divided from herself and her fair judgment, without the which we are pitchers or mere beast. Last, and as much containing as all these, her brother is in secret come from France, feeds on his wonder, keeps himself in clouds, and wants not buzzers to infect his ears with pestilent speeches of her father's death. Where in necessity of matter beggared, will nothing stick our passion to arraigned in ear. Oh, my dear Gertrude, this, like a murdering piece in many places, gives me syphilis death. A noise is heard off stage. Alas, what noise is this? Claudius calls for his guards. Attend! Where is my Switzers? Let them guard the door. What is the matter? An attendant comes in, quite panicked. Save yourself, my lord! The ocean, overpeering of his list, eats not the flat with any more impious haste than young Laertes, in a righteous head, overbears your officers. The people are proclaiming Laertes king. The rabble call him lord, And as the world were not yet to begin, antiquity forgot, custom not known, the ratifiers and props of every world, they cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applauded to the clouds, Laertes shall be king, Laertes king. Gertrude decries their treason as they bust through the door. How cheerfully on the false trail they cry, oh, this is counter, you false Danish dogs. The doors are broke. It's Laertes and his men. They want to enter the courtroom, but he asks them to stay outside. Where is this king? Sirs, stand you all without. No, let us come in. I pray you, give me leave. We will, we will. Laertes confronts Claudius. I thank you. Keep the door. O thou vile king, give me my father. Calmly, good Laertes. That drop of blood that calm proclaims thee bastard, cries cuckold to my father, brands me the harlot even here between the chaste unsmirched brow, my true mother. What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. There's such divinity doth hedge a king, that treason can but peep to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me, Laertes, why art thus incensed? Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man. Where is my father? Dead, but not by him. Let him demand his fill. How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiant, vows to the blackest devil, conscience and grace to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation. To this point I stand, that both the worlds I give negligence. Let come what comes, only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father. Who shall stay you? My will, not all the world. And for my means, I'll husband them so well, they shall go far with little. Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father, is to writ in your revenge that, swoopstake, will you draw both friend and foe, winner and loser? None but his enemies. Will you know them, then? To his good friends this wide I'll ope my arms, and, like the kind life-rendering pelican, repace them with my blood. Why? Now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman, that I am guiltless of your father's death, and I am most sensibly in grief for it. It shall as level to your judgment peer as day doth to your eye. Let her come in. We hear something off stage. Ophelia enters, and Laertes just crumbles. Oh, heat, dry up my brains. Tears 7 times sail burns out the sense and virtue of mine eye. By heaven, thy madness shall be paid with weight, till our scale turn the beam. O Rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia, O heavens, is it possible a young maid's wit should be as mortal as an old man's life? Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine, it sends some precious instance of itself after the thing it loves. Ophelia's state only increases Laertes' desire for revenge. They bore him barefaced on the bier, nay, hey, nonny non, hey, nonny, and in his grave rained many a tear. Fare you well, my dove. Hadst thou thy wits, and didst persuade revenge, it could not move thus. You must sing adown, adown, and you call him adown, adown. Oh, how the wheels become it! It is the false steward that stole his master's daughter. This is nothing more than the matter. Ophelia speaks of flowers. There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray you, love, remember. And there is pansies. That's for thought. A document in madness, thoughts and remembrance fitted. There's fennel for you, and columbines. There's rue for you, and here's some for me. We may call it herb of grace of Sundays. You must wear your rue with a difference. Here's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they all withered my father died. They say he made a good end, for bonny sweet Robin is all my joy. Thoughts and affliction, passion, hell itself she turns to favor and to prettiness. And will he not come again? And will be not come again? No, no, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed, he will never come again. His beard was as white as snow, all flaxen was his poll. He is gone, and we cast away moan. God a mercy on his soul, and we cast away moan. God a mercy on his soul, and of all Christian souls, I pray God, God be with you. Do you see this? Oh God! Laertes, I must commune with your grief, or you deny me right. Go but apart, make choice of whom your wisest friends will, and they shall hear and judge twixt between you and me. Go out, talk to people, they're going to tell you exactly what happened. If by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all that we call ours to you in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content. Let it be so. Laertes is of course upset about the death itself, but it's also the lack of ceremony that really has him going. His means of death, his obscure funeral, no trophy, sword, or hatchment over his bones, no noble rite nor formal ostentation, cry to be heard as 'twere from heaven and earth, that I must call into question. So you shall, and where the great axe fall, I pray you, go with me. A quick audience point of view, if Laertes has the support to take the throne, the kingdom's in peril. Claudius is losing his authority if Laertes can march on Elsinore with a small force. Can Claudius convince Laertes not to take revenge against him? Claudius assumes England will take care of Hamlet. Act 4, Scene 6, Elsinore. Horatio receives a letter from Hamlet. Something happened on the way to England, and he is returning to Elsinore. Sailors have arrived with letters, and one's for Horatio. What are they that they would speak with me? Seafaring men, sir. They say they have letters for you. Let them come in. I do not know what part of the world I should be greeted, if not from Lord Hamlet. God bless you, sir. Let him bless thee too. He shall, sir, and please him. There's a letter for you, sir. It came from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be a Horatio, as I am let to know it is. Horatio reads the letter from Hamlet. On the way to England, wouldn't you know it, they are attacked by pirates. Horatio, when thou hast overlooked this, give these fellows some means to the king. They have letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. Hamlet was taken prisoner, and he negotiates his release. On this instant, they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they know what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldest fly death. This messenger can show Horatio where Hamlet is, and he has word about Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. I have words to speak in thy ear, will make thee dumb, yet there is much light for the bore to the matter. These good fellows will bear thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England, of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell, he that hath knowest thine, Hamlet. Act 4, Scene 7, Private Room in Elsinore. Laertes speaks to Claudius. They learn of Hamlet's impending return, and they plot his death. Gertrude enters with some tragic news about Ophelia. Laertes has talked to some people, found out exactly what happened, and now he's sitting with Claudius. Now much your conscience my acquittal seal, and you must put me in your heart a friend, sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life. But why was Hamlet not punished? It well appears, but tell me why you proceeded not against these feats, so criminal and so capital in nature, as by your safety, greatness, wisdom, all things else, you mainly were stirred up. Claudius explains there's 2 reasons why he didn't punish Hamlet. The first reason is because of Gertrude. Oh, for 2 special reasons, which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, but yet to me they're strong. The queen his mother lives almost by his looks, and for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which. She is so conjectured to my life and soul that, as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but by her. The other reason is because the people love Hamlet. The other motive why to a public count I might not go is the great love the general gender bear him, who, dipping all his faults in their affection, work like a spring that turneth wood to stone, convert his guiles to grace, so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, but not where I have aimed them. So punishing Hamlet would just punish the crown. this is all in good, but Laertes is thinking, how am I going to get my revenge? And so have I a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, should challenge her on mount of all the age for her perfections. But my revenge will come. Claudius, of course, is thinking about the whole English court plan, so he's telling Laertes, just relax, I think things are going to work out. Break not your sleeps for that, and must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our bear be shook with danger and think it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father as we love ourselves, and that, I hope, will teach you to imagine. A messenger arrives. How now? What news? Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. These to your majesty, this to the queen. From Hamlet? Who brought them? Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them not. They were given to me by Claudio. He received them of him that brought them. Claudius reads Hamlet's letter aloud. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your knightly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon, thereunto recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet. They're a little puzzled. This was written by Hamlet, but still seems very strange. What should this mean? Are all the rest come back? Or is it some abuse and no such thing? Know ye the hand? 'Tis Hamlet's character, naked. And in a postscript here he says, alone. Can you advise me? I am lost to my lord, but let him come. It warms my very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou. If it be so, Laertes, and how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me? Ay, my lord, so you will not overrule me to a peace. To thy peace, if he be now returned, I will work him to an exploit, now ripe in my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall. So, let's figure out what we're going to do with Hamlet. If we're going to take care of Hamlet, Gertrude can't know about it. And for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident. My lord, I will be ruled, the rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ. Claudius agrees that Laertes is to be the assassin, but he wants to butter him up a bit first. It falls right. You have been much talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for a quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from him as did that one, and that, in my regard, the unworthiest siege. What envy is this? What part is that, my lord? A very ribbon in the cap of youth, yet needful too, for youth no less become the light and careless livery that it wears them settles age of his sables and his weeds, importing health and graveness. 2 months since, it's always been 2 months, here was a gentleman from Normandy. I have seen myself and served against the French, and they can well on horseback, but this gallant had a witchcraft in it. He grew onto his seat, and to such wondrous doing brought his horse as had he been in corpse and demi-nature with the brave beast. So far he taught my thought that I in forgery and shapes and tricks came short of what he did. A Norman, was it? A Norman. Upon my life, Lombard, the very same. Claudius is claiming this famous horseman came to court and talked about what a great swordsman Laertes is, and it really made Hamlet jealous. I knew him well. He is the brooch indeed, a gem of all the nation. He made confession of you, and gave you such mastery report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especial, that he cried out 'twould be a sight indeed if he could match you. The skirmers of their nation, he swore, had neither motion, guard, nor eye if you oppose them. Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom in his envy, that he could nothing but to wish and beg your sudden coming over to play with you. Hamlet, who's proud of his own sword play, thought, I have to face Laertes. I have to see who's better. Now out of this. What out of this, my lord? Laertes? Was your father dear to you? Or are you like a painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart? Why ask you this? Not that I think you did not love your father, but I know love is begun by time, and that I see in passages of proof, time qualifies the spark and fire of it. There lives within the very flame of youth a kind of wick or snuff that will abate it, and nothing is alike goodness still, for goodness, growing to a pleurisy, dies in his own too much. So you're really passionate now about getting revenge, but are you actually going to go through with it? That we would do we, should do when we would. For this would changes and hath abatements and delays, as many as there are tongues, are hands, are accidents. And then this should is like a spendthrift sigh that hurts by easing. Are you ready to prove that you loved your father? But to the quick of it all, sir, Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself indeed your father's son more than words? To cut his throat in the church. No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should know no bounds. But, good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet, return, shall know you are come home. What we're going to do is, we're going to arrange a duel between you and Hamlet. We'll put on those shall praise your excellent, and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you. Bring you in fine together and wager on your heads. But one of the swords is going to be deadly. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not pursue the foils, so that, with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a pass a practice require him for your father. Laertes can do one better. He's got some poison he can put on this unbaited sword. I will do it, and for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal that, but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare, collected from all the simples that have virtue under the moon, can save the thing from death, that is but scratched withal. I'll touch the point with this contagion, that, if I gal him slightly, it may be death. Claudius likes that, but he wants to take it one step further. Let's further think on this, weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not assayed. Therefore this project should have a back or second that might hold it if this did blast in proof. Soft, let me see. We'll also use the poison in some wine, then when Hamlet's thirsty, we'll have him drink it. We'll make a solemn wager on your cunnings. Have it. When in your motion you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drink, I'll have prepared him a chalice for the nunce, whereon but sipping he will by chance escape your venom struck, our purpose may hold there. Gertrude enters with some bad news. But stay, what noise? One woe doth trend upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes. Drowned? Oh. Where? There is a willow grows extant that brook that shows his hoar-leaves in the glassy stream. Ophelia, oblivious to the danger, calmly sank. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like, a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old lauds, of one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endured unto that element. But long it could not be, till her garments heavy with their drink pulled the poor wretch from her melodies, laid to muddy death. Alas, then she is drowned, drowned, drowned. Too much of water hath poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But yet it is our trick, nature her custom holds, let shame what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly drowns it. Let's follow Gertrude. How much I have done to calm his rage. Now fear this I will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow. Recap, Act 4, Scenes 4 through 7. Fortinbrash's army arrived on its way to Poland. Hamlet, attacked by pirates at sea, escaped custody, returning to Elsinore. Ophelia, driven mad by events, drowns. Laertes swears revenge against Hamlet, plots with Claudius. Perspectives. Horatio. With Hamlet away, it is unclear why Horatio is still at court. It appears he tried to help Ophelia. He's amazed to hear from Hamlet, and he awaits his arrival. Fortinbras appears to be in control of his forces, honors the treaty with Denmark. Ophelia, the stress of Hamlet's madness, Polonius' death, and Laertes' away, she goes mad. Unclear if she was aware of her actions when she takes herself to the water. Gertrude, unclear if she is questioning Claudius. She defends him against Laertes. She doesn't want to speak with Ophelia, but acquiesces. Doesn't appear to have any allies at court. Laertes turns out to be a hothead. Upon hearing upon his father's death, he returns from France. Angry subjects join him and want to declare him king. Laertes accepts Hamlet as the sole person responsible for Polonius' death. Claudius. Chaos rises in the kingdom. Claudius circumvents ceremony. To avoid the wrath of the people and Gertrude, he plots with Laertes to kill Hamlet. His soothing of Laertes shows his skill with words. Hamlet. Upon seeing Fortinbras and his army willing to fight for a cause, he reconfirms his revenge oath. He manages to escape custody and is returning to Elsinore. Recap Act 4. Hamlet, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern leave for England. They carry Hamlet's death warrant. Fortinbras marches to Poland. Ophelia goes mad and drowns. Laertes returns. Upon hearing Hamlet's letter, he plots with Claudius. And that concludes Act 4. So, again, I thank you for your time, and I hope you join us for Act 5, the grand conclusion of William Shakespeare's Hamlet. We open on a graveyard outside of Elsinore. Two gravediggers discuss Ophelia's death. Hamlet and Horatio encounter them. After a talk with a gravedigger, Hamlet and Horatio hide as Ophelia's funeral procession arrives. Hamlet confronts Laertes. The scene opens with some comic relief. Two gravediggers, sometimes described as two clowns, are discussing Ophelia's death. Not that there's anything funny about it, but just to break the dramatic tension, they're discussing whether or not Ophelia took her own life. Because if she died in her madness, then she deserves a Christian burial. In this world, though, if she took her own life, that's an unforgivable sin, and she shouldn't be buried in consecrated ground. The first gravedigger asks, is she to be buried in Christian burial when she willfully seeks her own salvation? I tell thee she is, therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her and finds it Christian burial. Claudius has intervened and made it very clear that yes, this is to be a Christian burial. So again, there's some circumventing of proper ceremony in the kingdom. How can that be, unless she drowned herself in her own defense? Why, 'tis found so. It must be se offendo. It cannot be else, for here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act, and an act hath three branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself willingly. Nay, but hear you, good Mendelver, give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man go to this water and drown himself, it is, will he, nil he goes. Mark you that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death, shortens not his own life. But is it law? Ah, marry it is, Crowner's quest law. Will you have truth on it? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial. Why, there thou sayest, and the more pity that great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than they're even Christian. After all, the real gentlemen are workers, the true heirs of Adam. Come, my spade. There is no ancient gentleman but gardeners, ditchers, and gravemakers. They hold up Adam's profession. Was he a gentleman? He was the first to bear arms. Why, he had none. What? Art a heathen? How dost thou understand the Scripture? The Scripture says Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? And now we get a riddle. I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself. Go to. What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter? The gallows maker, for that frame outlived 1,000 tenants. I like thy wit well, in good faith, the gallows does well. But how does it well? It does well to those that do ill. Now, thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. Argal, the gallows may do well to thee. To it again, come, to it. Mass, I cannot tell. Cudgel thy brain no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. And when you are asked this question next, say, a grave maker. The houses he makes last till doomsday. One of the grave diggers exits to go get some liquor, and the other remains to do his work. Sings a little song. In youth, when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract. Oh, the time for, my beloved, oh, methought there, was nothing a meet. Horatio and Hamlet enter the scene, and Hamlet is a little miffed that this guy is having so much fun digging a grave. Has this fellow no feeling of his business? He sings in grave making. Horatio agrees that workers are simple. Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness. 'Tis even so, the hand of little employment hath the daintier sense. As the gravedigger works, he comes across skulls from previous burials, and he places them there on the ground. And Hamlet then has a running commentary on who these people might have been. That skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground, as it were Cain's jawbone, that did the first murder. This might be the pate of a politician, which this ass now overreaches, once that would circumvent God. Might it not? It might, my lord. Or of a courtier, which could say, Good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou, sweet lord? This might be my lord such a one that praised my lord such a one's horse when he went to beg it. Might it not? Ay, my lord. There's another. Why may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now, his quilities, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this mad knave now to knock him about the scone with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might have been in his time a great buyer of land, with his statutes, his reconnaissances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries, to have this fine pate full of fine dirt. Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases? And doubles one too, that the length and breadth of a pair of indentures. The very conveyances of his lands will scarcely lie in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more? Not a jot more, my lord. Hamlet asked Horatio, Is the parchment made of sheepskin? Ay, my lord, and of calfskins too. Hamlet decides to question the grave maker, and keep in mind he does not know this is Ophelia's grave. A battle of wit ensues. They are sheep and calves which seek out assurances in that, I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave this, sirrah? Mine, sir. I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it. You lie out on it, sir, and therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, yet it is mine. Thou dost lie in it, to be in it, and to say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest. 'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away again from me to you. What man dost thou dig for? For no man, sir. What woman, then? For none neither. Who is to be buried in it? One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead. Hamlet can't believe the nerve of this guy. How absolute the knave is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, this 3 years I have took note of it. The age is grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he galls his jibe. Hamlet continues his questioning, and we get some exposition. How long hast thou been a grave maker? Of all the days in the year, I came to it that day that our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras. It turns out the day that King Hamlet defeated King Fortinbras just so happens to be the day Prince Hamlet was born. How long is that since? Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was that very day that young Hamlet was born, he that is mad, and sent to England. So the kingdom is aware of the madness of Prince Hamlet. However, he doesn't recognize Prince Hamlet in front of him, but given the medieval time, that's not unusual. Why? 'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he. How came he mad? Very strangely, they say. How strangely? Faith, even with losing his wits. Upon what ground? Why, here in Denmark. The gravedigger finally gives a clear answer. I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years. The gravedigger finally gives a straight answer. I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years. Therefore, Hamlet is 30 years of age. Allegedly. Hamlet gets inquisitive. How long will a man lit in the earth he rot? Faith, if he be not rotten before he die, and we have many pocky courses nowadays that will scarce hold the laying in, he will last you some 8 or 9 year. A tanner lasts you 9. Why he more than another? Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade that he will keep out the water a great while, and your water is a sorty care of your horse some dead body. He points out a particular skull. Here's a skull that hath lie in the earth 23 years. Whose was it? A horse and mad fellow it was. Who do you think it was? Nay, I know not. A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. He poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. This same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester. This? Even that. Yorick, the court jester, entertained Hamlet when he was a child, and we get a little insight into what seems like a happy childhood. Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not oft. Where be your jibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that want to set the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quite chapfallen. Now get you to my lady's chamber, and tell her, let her paint an inch thick. To this favour she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing. What's that, my lord? Dost thou think Alexander looked over this fashion in the earth? Even so. Even Alexander the Great ended up like this. And smelt so? Even so, my lord. To what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole? Hamlet's pointing out the cold logic of life. Horatio, 'twere to consider too curiously to consider so. Hamlet, no, faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither, with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it, as thus. Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth to dust. And we can say the same for Julius Caesar. The dust is earth, of earth we make loam, and why of that loam whereto he was not converted might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth which kept the world in awe should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw. They notice a funeral approaching. They don't know it's for Ophelia. But soft a while, here comes the king, the queen, and courtiers. Who is this they follow? And with such maimed rites, this doth betoken the course they followed did this desperation hand fordo its own life. 'Twere of some estate. Couch we a while, and mark. So it must have been somebody important, of some members of the court are there. Claudius arranged a Christian burial for Ophelia, but the priest is not comfortable with it, and it's a really low-key funeral. Laertes asked the priest, what ceremony else? Her obsequies have been as far and large as we have warranty. The priest, sometimes described as the doctor, does not think Ophelia should have received a Christian burial. Her death was doubtful, and by that great command oversways the order she should in ground unsanctified been lodged to the last trumpet. After all, she did get some stuff. For charitable prayer shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her, yet here she is allowed her virgin krantz, her maiden strudements, and the bringing home of bell and burial. Laertes is disappointed. Must no more be done? No more be done! We should profane the service of the dead to sing a requiem, and such rest to her as the peace-parted souls. Laertes oversees the lowering of the coffin. Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling. Hamlet now realizes what's happening. What? The fair Ophelia? Gertrude. Sweets to the sweet. Farewell. I hope thou should have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have stewed thy grave. Laertes in his grief begins to escalate and wants to hold Ophelia one last time. O treble woe, fall 10 times treble on that cursed head whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Laertes jumps into the grave. Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till this flat a mountain you have made it overtopped old Pelion, or the skyish head of blue Olympus. Hamlet now lets his presence be known. What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars, and make them stand like wander-wounded bears? This is I, Hamlet the Dane. Laertes, seeing Hamlet, attacks. The devil take thy soul, thou prayerest not well. Hamlet has something to share. I prithee take thy fingers from my throat, for though I am not splentive and rash, yet have I in me something dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear. Hold off thy hand. Claudius wants them separated. Pluck them asunder. Gertrude, Hamlet, Hamlet. Horatio, good my lord, be quiet. Will I fight with him upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag? Gertrude, oh my son, what theme? I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all their equality of love make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her? Claudius, oh, he is mad, Laertes. Hamlet continues to rave. Swords, show me what thou do. Whoop, weep, woot, fight, whoop, fast, woot, tear thyself. Would drink an easel, eat a crocodile? For the love of God, forbear him. I'll do it. Thou'st just come here to whine, to outface me with the leaping in her grave. Be buried quick with her, and so will I. So Laertes and Hamlet are arguing who loved Ophelia more. And of thou prate of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till our ground, singing his pate against the burning zone, make Oza like a wart. Nay, O art thou mouth, I'll rant as well as thou. Claudius has had enough. This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him, anon, as patient as the female dove, when that her golden couplets are disclosed, his silence will sit drooping. Hamlet, before exiting, reminds Laertes that they used to be friends. Hear you, sir, what is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will meow, and the dog will have his day. Claudius asks Horatio to follow after Hamlet. I pray thee, good Horatio, wait upon him. Claudius also asks Gertrude to go after Hamlet while he has a word with Laertes. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch upon over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet thereby shall we see. Till then in patience our proceedings be. Recap Scene 5, Act 1. Hamlet and Horatio return to Elsinore via a graveyard. The kingdom is aware of Hamlet's madness. Hamlet and Laertes argue over who loved the deceased Ophelia more, and Claudius reminds Laertes of the plan. Act 5, Scene 2. Private room, followed by the grand hall of Elsinore. Hamlet recounts events since leaving Elsinore. An invitation to a friendly duel with Laertes seems suspect, but Hamlet agrees. Claudius's plan falls apart, causing multiple deaths. A dying Hamlet is informed that a conquering Fortinbras has arrived. The scene starts in the middle of a conversation between Horatio and Hamlet. Hamlet: so much for this, sir. Now shall you see the other. Do you remember all the circumstance? Remember it, my lord. One night at sea, Hamlet was quite restless. Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Our indiscretion sometimes serves us well when our deep plots do pall, and that should learn us that there's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough-hewn them how we will. That is most certain. Hamlet sneaks into the cabin of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern and find the letter that they're carrying. Up from my cabin, groped I to find out them, fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room, making so bold, my fears forgetting manners, to unfold their grand commission, where I found Horatio a royal knavery. The letter calls for the execution of Hamlet, an exact command that on the supervise no leisure abated, no, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off. Is it possible? Hamlet shows Horatio the letter. Here's the commission. Read it at more leisure. But wilt thou hear how I did proceed? I beseech you. Hamlet replaces the letter with one of his own. I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once did hold it, as our statics do, a baseness to write fair, and laboured much to forget that learning. But, sir, now it did me a yeoman's service. Wilt thou know the effect of what I wrote? Aye, good my lord. The new letter orders the execution of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. On the view and knowing of these contents, without debatement further, more or less, he should those bearers put to sudden death, not shriving time allowed. How is it sealed? Why, even in that was heaven ordinate. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was modelled on that Danish seal, the changeling never known. Now, the next day was our sea fight, and what to this was sequent thou knowest already. Horatio, so Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it. Hamlet has no remorse. Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by this own insuation grows. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the past and felt in sense's point of mighty opposites. They shouldn't have tried to live above their station. Horatio can't believe it. Why, what a king is this? Hamlet then recounts the crimes of Claudius, including the fact that he feels he stole the election, he stole the crown from Prince Hamlet. Does it not, think thee, stand me now upon, he that hath killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, thrown out this angle for my proper life? Horatio points out that it's only a matter of time before the English crown reports back. It must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of the business there. It will be short, the interim's mine, and a man's life no more than to say one. Hamlet takes a moment to say that he is sorry for the way he acted around Laertes, that he understands that Laertes wants revenge as much as he does, and he'll make it up to him. I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself, for by the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favours, but sure, the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion. Someone's entering. Horatio, peace, who comes here? It is Osric, a courtier. Your lordship is right, welcome back to Denmark. And now we get a little bit more comic relief before the grand finale. Hamlet greets Osric, but then makes a side comment to Horatio. I humbly thank you, sir. Thou knowest this waterfly? Horatio, no, my good lord. Hamlet explains that he finds Osric despicable. He's only at court because he owns a lot of land. Thy state is more the more gracious, for 'tis a vice to know him. He hath much land, and fertile. Let a beast be lord of beasts, and his crib shall stand at the king's mess. 'Tis a chough, but, as to say, spacious in the possession of dirt. Osric is a bit uncomfortable in his new position, and he overcompensates with formal language. Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impact a thing to you from his majesty. Hamlet, not really taking him seriously, kind of wants to play with him. I will receive it, sir, with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to its right use. 'Tis for the head. Osric protests, saying the room is quite warm, but Hamlet corrects him. It's actually quite chilly. I thank your lordship. It is very hot. No, believe me, 'tis very cold. The wind is northerly. Osric obeys, but then Hamlet changes his mind. It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed. But yet methinks it is very sultry and hot for my complexion. Exceedingly, my lord, it is very sultry as 'twere. I cannot tell how. My lord, his majesty bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter. I beseech you, remember. This time Osric declines to put this hat back on. Nay, good my lord, for my ease, in good faith, sir, here is newly come to court Laertes. Believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society and great showing. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he is the card or calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him the continent of what part a gentleman would see. But when Hamlet interrupts Osric's chain of thought, he forgets what he's saying. What imports the nomination of this gentleman? Of Laertes? Even Horatio wants to get in on this. His purse is empty already. All his golden words are spent. Of him, sir, I know you are not ignorant. I would you did, sir. Yet in faith, if you did, it would not approve me. Well, sir? I know you are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is. I dare not confess that, least I should compare with him in excellence. But to know a man well were to know himself. I mean, sir, for his weapon, but in the imputation laid on him by them, in his need he's unfollowed. What's his weapon? Rapier and dagger. That's two of his weapons, but well. Osric gets to the bet. The king, sir, hath wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, against which he has pawned, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their assigns as girdle, hangers, and so. 3 of the carriages, in faith, are very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hilts, most delicate carriages, and of very liberal conceit. Hamlet doesn't know what Osric's talking about, and Horatio suggests that they get a dictionary to try to understand. What call you the carriages? I knew you must be edified by the marchant ere you had done. The carriages, sir, are the hangers. Hamlet recaps the bet. The phrase would be more germane to the matter if we could carry a cannon by our sides. I would it might be hangers till then. But on. 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, their assigns, and 3 liberal conceited carriages, that's the French bet against the Danish. Why is this all in pawned, as you call it? The king, sir, hath laid, sir, that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and it would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer. If you're ready, we can get going right now. Hamlet wants to know if he has a choice, but it doesn't seem that he does. How if I answer no? I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial. Hamlet agrees. Sir, I will walk here in the hall. If it please his majesty, it is the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king hold his purpose. I will win for him if I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits. Shall I deliver you even so? To this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will. I commend my duty to your lordship. Osric exits, and Horatio and Hamlet continue to insult him. He does well to commend it himself. There are no tongues else for his turn. This lapwing runs away with the shell on his head. Hamlet laments that this is typical of new courtiers. He did comply, sir, with his dug before he sucked it. Thus he had, and many more of the same breed that I know the drossy age dotes on, only got the tune of time, and, out of a habit of encounter, a kind of yeasty collection, which carries them through and through the most fanned and widowed opinions, and do but blow into their trial, the bubbles are out. Suddenly a lord arrives to inform Hamlet that everyone's waiting for them in the hall. Are we going to do this thing? My lord, his majesty commended me to you by young Osric, who brings back to him that you attend him in the hall. He sends to know if your pleasure hold to play with Laertes, or that you will take a longer time. Hamlet takes this man a little bit more seriously. I am constant to my purposes. They follow the king's pleasure. If his fitness speaks, mine is ready now, or whensoever, provided I be able as to now. The Lord instructs Hamlet to exchange pleasantries with Laertes before they begin dueling. The king and queen are coming down. In happy time. The queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment to Laertes before you fall to play. She instructs me well. The Lord exits, and both Horatio and Hamlet express concern about the situation. You will lose, my lord. I do not think so. Since you went into France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds, but thou wouldest not to think how all hear about my heart. But it is no matter. Nay, good my lord, it is but foolery, but it is such a kind of gainsgiving as would perhaps trouble a woman. If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither, and say you are not fit. But Hamlet won't have this. Not a whit. We defy augury. Hamlet finally has his moment of clarity. He realizes he can't accept his fate, and he explains to Horatio more or less that today's the only day we ever know, and since tomorrow's not promised to us, there's nothing we can miss. There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all, since no man of aught he leaves knows, was it to leave betimes. Let be. The action then switches to the grand hall, with everyone present. Claudius begins the proceedings. Come, Hamlet, come and take this hand from me. Hamlet takes his opportunity to apologize to Laertes. Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong, but pardon it as you are a gentleman. This presence knows, as you must needs have heard, how I am punished with sore distraction. Technically speaking, it was the mad Hamlet who wrongs you. I'm feeling much better now. What I have done that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Was it Hamlet wrong, Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself be taken away, and when he's not himself does wrong Laertes, then Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? His madness. In other words, Hamlet's the victim here. He's the one who's been suffering with madness. If it be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wronged. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience let my disclaiming from a purpose evil free me so far as your most generous thoughts that I have shot my arrow over the house and hurt my brother. I am satisfied in nature, whose motives in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement till, by some elder masters of known honor, I have voice and president of peace to keep my name ungored. But till that time, I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it. I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils. Come on, let's get to this duel. As they're looking over the swords, Hamlet makes a pun about being a foil to Laertes. Come on, one for me. I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance your skill shall, like a star in the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed. You mock me, sir. No, by this hand. Claudius, give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager? Very well, my lord. Your grace has laid the odds on the weaker side. I do not fear it. I have seen you both, but since he is better, we therefore odds. They continue to inspect the swords. This is too heavy. Let me see another. Hamlet, this likes me well. These foils have all the length. Osric, aye, my good lord. Claudius declares if Hamlet gets an early hit, all the battlements will be fired in celebration. Set me the stoups of wine upon that table. If Hamlet gives the first or second hit, or quit an answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup a union shall he throw, richer than which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. In other words, Claudius is getting ready to drink to Hamlet's health, but he's put the poisoned pearl in that cup. In other words, Claudius will offer Hamlet a cup of wine with a pearl in it, and the audience knows that pearl is poison. Give me the cups, and let the kettle to the trumpet speak, the trumpet to the cannoneer without, and the cannons to the heavens, the heaven the earth. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin, and you, the judges, bear a wary eye. Hamlet, come on, sir. Laertes, come, my lord. On the first exchange, Hamlet scores a hit. Judgment, a hit, a very palpable hit. Laertes wants to go right away, but Claudius pauses. Stay, give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to your health. And with that, Claudius drops the poisoned pearl into the cup of wine, offers it to Hamlet. Give him the cup. I'll pay this bout first. Set it by a while. And so now Claudius has to do something with the poison cup, so he sets it down nearby. On the second exchange, Hamlet scores another hit. Come, another hit. What do you say? A touch, I do confess. Everyone's enjoying the show, and Claudius says to Gertrude, our son will win. Gertrude, so happy for her son, grabs the cup of poison wine, brings it over to Hamlet. He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet. Good, madam. And then Gertrude goes to take a big swig of the wine. Claudius, Gertrude, do not drink. Gertrude, I will, my lord. I pray you will pardon me. Gertrude drinks the poison. It is the poison cup. It is too late. Claudius can't stop what's happening. Hamlet again declines to drink. I dare not drink yet, madam. By and by. Come, let me wipe thy face. Laertes takes a moment to talk to Claudius, but he's speechless. My lord, I'll hit him now. I do not think it. Laertes, and yet it is almost against my conscience. Starting to feel there's something wrong about what he's doing. But Hamlet taunts Laertes, and that makes him forget any guilt. Come, for the third Laertes, you do but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence. I am afraid you make a wanton of me. Say you so? Come on. Laertes, with his sword dipped with poison, comes at Hamlet and cuts him. Hamlet knows right away something is wrong because these swords shouldn't have the ability to cut, and then they begin to fight much more for real. Have at you now. With Hamlet and Laertes now fighting for real, their swords fall to the floor, and Hamlet picks up the poisoned sword, and Laertes gets the other one, and Hamlet strikes Laertes with the poisoned sword. Claudius calls for order. Part them, they are incensed. Nay, come again. Osric notices that the queen has fallen. Look to the queen, ho! So Hamlet's bleeding, Laertes is bleeding, and Laertes hits to the ground. Horatio, they bleed on both sides. How is it, my lord? Osric, how is it, Laertes? Why, as a woodcock to my own springe, Osric, I am justly killed with my own treachery. Hamlet, how does the queen? Claudius, she swoons to see them bleed. But Gertrude realizes what's happening. No, the drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet, the drink. I am poisoned. Hamlet calls for the doors to be locked. Oh, villainy, ho! Let the doors be locked. Treachery! Seek it out! Laertes confesses. It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slayed. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour's life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. The foul practice has turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poison, I can no more. The king's to blame. Hamlet, realizing that he has the poisoned sword, decides he's going to use it on Claudius. The point in venom too, then venom, to thy work. Everyone's calling out treason. Claudius is out of allies. "Oh, yet defend me, friend, I am but hurt." Not only does Hamlet use the poisoned sword, he makes a dying Claudius drink the poison too. "Here, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, drink off this potion. Is thy union here? Follow my mother." Laertes, in his dying breath, hopes that he can get forgiveness from Hamlet. He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. "Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me." Hamlet forgives him. "Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. I am dead, Horatio." But this is how he says goodbye to his mother. "Wretched queen, adieu." So the whole court's looking at this dumbfounded, and Hamlet tries to provide some explanation. "You that look pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mutes our audiences to this act. Had I but time, and his fell sergeant Death is stricken his arrest, oh, I could tell you, but let it be." Hamlet commands Horatio to tell everyone what has happened. "Horatio, I am dead, thou livest, report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied." But Horatio's not a member of court. Why should they believe me? Maybe it's better that I just follow my Lord Hamlet. "Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than a Dane. Here's yet some liquor left." Hamlet orders him to put down the cup and defend his memory. "As thou art a man, give me the cup. Let go. By heaven, I'll have it. Oh God, Horatio, what a wounded name, things standing thus unknown, shall I leave behind me. If thou did ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story." Off stage, there's a loud noise. What warlike noise is this? Osric, young Fortinbras, with conquest come from Poland to the ambassadors of England, gives this warlike volley. So Fortinbras and the English ambassador have just shown up. Hamlet: "Oh, I die, Horatio. The potent poison quite overcrows my spirit. I cannot live to hear the news from England." In his final breaths, Hamlet confirms that Fortinbras is the rightful king of Denmark, and he releases Horatio from the vow made in Act 1. Be sure to tell everyone what has happened. But I do prophesize the election lights on Fortinbras. He hath my dying voice, so tell him, with the occurrence, more and less, which have solicited. The rest is silence. Hamlet dies. Horatio now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince, and may flights of angels sing thee till I rest. Fortinbras arrives with the English ambassador and just sees chaos in the court. Where is this sight? Horatio: What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search. Fortinbras: This quarry cries on havoc. O proud death! What feasts toward in thy eternal cell, that thou so many princes at a shot so bloodily hast struck? The ambassador is dismayed because we just did you this big favor, so who's going to thank us? This sight is dismal, and our affairs from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing, to tell him that his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks? Horatio: Not from his mouth, referring to Claudius, had he the ability of life to thank you. He never gave the commandment for their death. But since so jump upon this bloody question, you from the Polack wars, and you from England, give order that these bodies high in a stage be placed to the view, and let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. Horatio summarizes the play. So you shall hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause. And in this upshot, purposes mistook fallen on the inventors' heads. All this I can truly deliver. Fortinbras: Let us haste to hear it, and call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow, I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now I claim my vantage doth invite me. Horatio: Of that I shall also cause to speak, and from his mouth whose voice will draw no more, and let this same be presently performed, even while men's mind are wild, lest more mischance on plots and error happen. Fortinbras wants Horatio to tell the story right away, but first let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royal, and for his passage the soldiers' music and the right of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies, such a sight of this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go, bid the soldiers shoot. The end. Recap, Act 5, Scene 2. Hamlet suspects the duel is a trap, but accepts his fate. Hamlet, Laertes, and Gertrude are poisoned. Hamlet slays Claudius. Fortinbras has returned to take the throne, and Horatio recounts the play. Hence, time is out of joint in the play. The play ends with Horatio taking us back to Act 1, Scene 1, and the play is on a constant loop. Perspectives. Horatio. As Hamlet is dying, Horatio considers drinking from the cup. Hamlet's order to tell his tale gives Horatio a sense of purpose. Horatio begins retelling the tale, and the play begins anew. Fortinbras receives his fortune, the throne of Denmark. Denmark needs saving. After his victory in Poland, Fortinbras delivers stability to Denmark. Gertrude, stuck by Claudius and becomes one of his victims. Genuine love for Claudius, or does she just want to preserve her position? Loves her son, but even in death, Hamlet does not forgive her. Laertes, betrayed by his own plan. He allowed Claudius to convince him that he was more skilled than Hamlet. He watches Gertrude drink the poison, then poisons Hamlet. He asks for forgiveness as he dies. Claudius, in the end, valued the throne more than Gertrude. He allows her to drink the poison. His plan backfires. Hamlet is mortally wounded, also causes multiple deaths, slain by Hamlet. Hamlet realizes he cannot escape his fate. He defends himself in the duel and finally gets his revenge. He dies stoically, giving Fortinbras his support to be king, and orders Horatio to set the record straight. The final audience point of view. Justice is served. Claudius's crimes will be revealed. Hamlet, again, resigned to his fate. Order has been reestablished. And Hamlet's downfall is also the story of Fortinbras's rise to power. Hence, Fortinbras needs Horatio to tell the story to justify him being king, and again, Horatio telling the story gives him agency, and he becomes the narrator of the play. This has been an objective reading of William Shakespeare's The Tragedy of Prince Hamlet. I believe this is a story every writer needs to be familiar with. It does an excellent job at characterization, overall storytelling, and its contributions to the English language cannot be overstated. So it's unfortunate that this play is less and less taught in schools for whatever reason. So again, I want to put it here on the channel in the hopes that more people can enjoy the play. If there's any other Hamlet content you'd like me to cover, just let me know. Be more than happy to make up the video. And in the meantime, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the future. Have a great day.